Hello. Been a little while. Nice to see you all. Thank you for tuning in. Wasn't sure if anyone would. Lovely to have all of you here. Thank you so much for the lovely, lovely hype train. What a lovely way to welcome me back. I really appreciate that. Gosh, I already feel awkward. I already feel I've lost the vibe of how I do these normally. We'll warm back up into it. We'll warm back up. Yes, you see Bert. We'll get onto him in a second. But yes, hello, welcome. How have you been? I mean that genuinely. I know I often start the streams with a sort of, hi, how are you? And it's kind of it's sort of throwaway kind of thing we say in sort of British English kind of. But I feel I haven't spoken to any of you for so long. I think it's been a little over 3 or 4 months. I'm here. I'm going to be doing this a lot more often again. This isn't a one-off, but we might change some things. We might sort of reinvent the format a little bit. Stuff has changed. Stuff has, life has happened. But I'm very keen to keep doing this kind of thing. Sorry, I'm just messing with my collar. I feel like it's kind of sticky-uppy. There we go. It's so warm. It's too warm at the moment in the UK. I don't know how many of you are in the UK. It's just too many warms. I feel like once you get past sort of 22 degrees, that's warm enough. Like anything higher than that, that's just too many warms. I'm talking about, of course, British warms rather than American warms. I don't know about the Fahrenheit things. Anyway, yes, good. So, what have you all been up to? How's life treating you? Have you seen the new Starfield Direct thing? I've seen some of it. It all looked very exciting. And that's something I want to do a lot more with over the next few months or whatever. Well, when it comes out. Anyway, as well. So, see, this is nice. Meow Zyro says, frustrated at Skyrim. And this is, life as normal. It's the funny thing, really. Stuff happens, you disappear for months, and for everyone else, normal life just sort of carries on. And I come right back, and people are still frustrated at Skyrim. Is there a new? Oh, I saw stuff about the new Minecraft update. I saw people were disappointed that there wasn't more stuff added. This is the curse of the dev. Which is you get into this a little bit with modding. It's something I've always felt, and I know other mod authors feel as well. Which is the longer you leave it between updates, and I'm so deep in that hole now. The longer you leave it between updates, the more kind of, no one puts it on you, but the more kind of pressure you feel in order to deliver then in the next update. So then you take longer on the update. And then you feel more pressure because it's been longer. So then you take longer to add in more stuff, and then you feel more pressure, and you get yourself in this feedback loop. And this applies throughout development, whether it's a mod or a game or whatever. And I'm sure the Minecraft developers feel it a little bit with this, that there's like an expectation level, and everyone's like, oh, but last time you added all this stuff, and then it's all, but they're adding new stuff. That's nice. New stuff is always nice, regardless of the extent of it, right? That's what I tell myself. It has only been 5 minutes since the last Lucien update. That's true, Nuna. 5 very long minutes. There is another one coming. There is. I'm still working on Lucien. I'll be honest, I haven't touched it very much in the last few months. It's not. I haven't. So basically, just to get this out of the way, for those of you who don't know, my dad passed away. And that's the kind of thing that when that sort of thing comes along in life, you have all these plans and all this sort of schedule and everything, and it just sort of cuts across the whole lot. And my whole focus and everything had to completely pivot. The PhD had to go straight on hold. My modding has gone on hold. I haven't touched any of it because we had to batten down the hatches as a family and pull through it. And it's been nearly 3 months now. And, things don't get back to normal. That's not how it works. but you sort of find a new normal. And I'm at the point now, I think, where I've sort of started to find the new normal. And I'm ready to get back into this kind of creative stuff. The PhD is still ongoing. It was meant to finish at the end of March. My funding finished at the start of March, because they pay you at the start of each month with that kind of thing. So that had already finished when this all happened. There was no way it was going to come back. So the funding finished. So I'm now working kind of unpaid. So it's in my interest to finish as quickly as possible so that I can move on and try and get some kind of paid work, get more stuff, carry on with life. But I'm aiming to finish the PhD kind of in about a month, over the course of the next month. Would be really great. That's kind of what I'm vaguely aiming for. There's no job lined up to take on after that. I'm hoping to find some research funding. I'm going to be applying for lots of it, but we'll have to see where I get to with that. It's incredibly competitive and it's a challenge. But we have all this stuff. We have all the side hustles. We have the creative stuff. And I always see lack of, when I have a lack of work, whether it's university work or whatever, when you have that time, yes, it's a bummer because you have to figure out how you're going to pay the bills and everything, but it's also an opportunity, because it's an opportunity for me to put so much more into all this creative aspect of my life that I enjoy so much. So I'm really looking forward to all of that. I've been determined, from the start of the year, I was determined to get the new version of Lucien out this year. And that includes his third final quest. It's a sort of conclusion to the kind of trilogy. And that is still my objective, to get that done this year. My original plan had me finishing the PhD in March and me then having a period of several months when I could focus full time on this kind of thing. And that obviously hasn't been able to happen. I'm not expecting to have... I might maybe have a month of clear time. I don't know. We'll have to see. But I'm still determined to deliver that at some point over the course of the year. It'll also come with all the things that people have been waiting for, like the, all the custom names that I said I'd include, the expansions to the, the learnable spells, the installer, so that you don't have to download all the individual patches, a bunch of other stuff that I can't talk about generally, but that I want to include. People who have been waiting on me to get back to them on stuff, I still want to follow through on that. There's so much that I want to get done, and it'll be really good for me to get that stuff done. Because I'm seeing all these lovely messages, by the way. I know I'm monologuing because I'm just sort of rolling with it. But I do really appreciate all these lovely messages and the support and the understanding and everything. That means a lot to me, because sorry, I'm rambling. I'm going to just keep rambling. When you have to take a big break like this, there's always this big worry as a kind of content creator that like, oh, everyone's going to disappear. I'm going to come, everyone's going to say, oh, well, you didn't keep delivering. You've got to, and they're all going to just move on. All the Patreons are all going to unsubscribe. Everyone's going to get on with their lives and move on from it all. And when you come back, there'll be no one here. And that's not what seems to have happened. People seem to have stuck around. Certainly people on Patreon have kept supporting me. You guys have kept subscribing on Twitch and everything. You've been active in the Discord. I've really appreciated that I haven't felt a sense of pressure to get back to this. That's meant a lot to me. I know streaming has this kind of weird parasocial relationship where you see me, I don't see you, I only read your messages, I wouldn't recognize you in the street, but you'd recognize me now because you've seen my face a lot, and it's kind of weird, and it's, but I do, on a personal level, really appreciate that you guys, folks, have stuck around. That does genuinely mean a lot to me as a person, as well as a content creator. So thank you for that. I'll answer a question. Why not? Since I'm just rambling and going down all sorts of conversation alleyways, let's answer the question. Is it possible to do a small collab with the author of Improved Follower Dialogue, Lydia? So, the answer to that one is that I don't discuss potential interactions in advance. This is something people have heard me say before. The reason being that it's so hard to coordinate with other mod authors, or rather, they find it so hard to coordinate with me. Let's be honest, I'm the problem here. I don't have my life together. My schedule is always all over the place. I have a backlog of like 30 different people who are all keen to do collaborations, and I'm keen to work with all of them. And the reality is I haven't done any real modding for the last few months, and I don't know when I'll get round to what. I am aware that there's a problem with Lucien's Lydia dialogue when she has a new voice, and I thought there was a patch for that. Not that I'd done, but I thought I gave permission for someone else to make a patch for that. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. But I thought either the author or someone else or someone had done something so that those conversations are just disabled if you have that improved follower dialogue mod installed. I thought we'd done that. Maybe I haven't actually done that. Maybe I dreamed it. But maybe that's more realistic. I'll be able to make that happen sooner if I actually put my mind to it, to make a patch to just disable them so that her voice doesn't just change. That's the best I can give you at the moment. Posture, Joseph. Right, on to the next conversational topic that I wanted to talk about as we're sort of scattergunning back and forth. So, I'm a researcher, scientist, engineer. I want to work on what I have been working on, which is intent sensing, which to me is a hugely exciting field with massive potential in healthcare. Predominantly healthcare, many other fields, gaming, all aspects of sort of life and interaction with technology, but I'm particularly interested in it in healthcare for things like prosthetics and smart orthotics to be able to understand the user's intentions in order to control an electronic device such as a prosthetic device in an intuitive way, rather than having to say, okay, right, activate open grip 1, reach out, close grip 1. I want to be able to just do it like you do with a normal, healthy, non-amputated arm, where you just reach out and you just do it. You don't think about the muscles you're using. It's just intuitive. That's what I want to achieve with my intent sensing technology. That's what I work on in my day-to-day. That's what my PhD focuses on. It's something that I could work on for years. It could take me 20 years to get that to an actual product level. But it's really important to me that I would like to continue working on that as much as possible. I'm looking for research funding to try and continue to do that. There's nothing confirmed for it, and the stuff that is being potentially explored might only be part-time. There's nothing kind of solid on that. But I would like to continue the work, and one possible avenue for continuing my research, even if I can't 100% secure the kind of funding I'm looking for, is to... There you go, Miskatonics found the patch. One option for doing that is to integrate it with this aspect of my life, streaming. So I'm interested, and I think it would be an interesting thing to experiment with, to try live streaming, not just my gaming, relax kind of stuff, but to try doing some streams of my research, to workshop my scientific ideas with you guys, to show you my process, to work on it together in a kind of not completely open source fashion, because I have to keep within certain limits of wanting to publish, etc., but in a collaborative way where the ideas are open, where I can continue my research. And if we want to say, if I'm no longer being supported by some kind of funding body, if we want to buy a bit of kit or something like a circuit board or an Arduino or some sensors or something, maybe we could crowdfund them and sort of do it together. Like, if we can integrate that into this whole process, I think it would be a whole sort of extra facet. It'd be more content, which hopefully I think would be very interesting. As a viewer, I would find that interesting to watch. I'm hoping you guys would find it interesting, and would help support the research, and could hopefully reach a point where I could produce a prototype of something that I could then use as a showcase when I'm applying to funding bodies to say, look, we achieved this. I've got this demonstration I can do, and then hopefully then get on with actually doing, with getting it funded, and which would be the ideal situation to get into rather than relying on the streams. And maybe find a balance. I also really like the kind of communicative science outreach aspect of that idea. Sharing the engineering process, demystifying science a little bit, because there's a whole lot of gatekeeping that goes on with science. It's really difficult to kind of get into it if you don't have the support of a university or something. You can't. There's so many costs involved in just applying to have stuff published. And you have to pay huge subscription fees to read journals that are non-open access. Like, I really believe in science communication and sharing that. So it's something I would like to try and start doing. I'm seeing from the comments that there's a lot of you who seem to think that does sound interesting as an idea, which is pleasing. I'm really glad to hear it. It's something I'd like to start doing. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to stop doing the creative stuff. I'm still going to do Lucien. We're still going to do the Lucien streams. All the other stuff, I still want to do because that's my downtime. That's how I relax. But what I'm proposing is bringing some of my work time into the streaming environment as well. Lucien was shown to be compatible with the upcoming Skyrim Extended Cut mod. Did I record new lines for that, or are they just working around it? I recorded a new line for the trailer. It's the only situations, the only time I've ever confirmed interactions with something before we've actually done it. It was a risky move because, as I say, there's all these issues with, communication and collaboration involved with it. But they were keen to do a trailer. They reached out to me. And by including in a trailer, it felt like a good opportunity for both of us to showcase what their mod was trying to do and to show how my mod would try and support it. So it seemed like a good time to make an exception to my normal rule. So I recorded those lines purely for the trailer. I have not yet recorded anything for the main extended cut mod. I'm not writing those lines. Their team is writing those lines, and I will, when those lines are written, I will give it a pass over. I'll and make sure it all sounds right and get it all loose. But I don't know their story. I'm not involved in their process. So it makes sense that they should be the ones to start that whole kind of thing and how they envisage Lucien fitting into it. I haven't seen any writing yet. I haven't recorded anything for it yet. So that's the only update I can give you. I wouldn't, there's more details than I would normally give. But, that was announced so long ago. I think that's fair for me to say, to sort of temper expectations. So the Skyrim Extended Cut mod, I'm still keen to do, but it's a huge, huge project, and I assume follower mod interactions are going to be pretty low on their list. Like, if I were developing it, I would want to get the main mod sorted first before I thought about interactions. So I suspect that's probably how they're approaching it. But it will be new lines. Whatever interaction does take place with that will be new lines. It won't be repurposing existing lines, because I don't like that. I don't think it gives good results. As someone who's done that with some of my early Lucien compatibilities, I've never been happy with the results. So yeah. Anyway, so just going back to the whole science communication idea. Really keen to sort of get into that whole kind of field. However, I'm also interested in streaming on an alternative platform as well as Twitch. The reason for that is manifold, but particularly this year, a lot of platforms, Twitter, to some extent Twitch, to various extents, Facebook and Reddit, a lot of platforms are making radical changes to the way that they conduct themselves with very short notice. And it draws a spotlight on, or draws attention to how important it is not to put all of your eggs in one basket, proverbially. Because you never know when things are suddenly going to change. Now, Twitch have made some rule changes recently, which don't really affect me, because I've only ever been sponsored for a stream once, which was the Nintendo Splatoon streams we did before, and no one's reached out to me to do that again. I'm not expecting it. We're not a very big channel. I'm not very well known. It's not, their whole changes to sponsorship rules don't really affect me. But it does highlight how things can change very quickly. So I think it would be good to do some streams sometimes on a different platform. And I think the platform that makes the most sense for that is YouTube. Twitch is very well known for gaming. It has tried to get into other platforms as well. Other areas, other subjects. It's tried to get into non-gaming things, but predominantly the audience for Twitch is gaming stuff. So if I were going to start doing science communication kind of stuff as well, it would be interesting to explore how that goes down on YouTube. So I'd like to try doing some streams on YouTube. And if you kind folks are up for it, I'd like to try doing that today. I'd like to try going over onto a YouTube stream on my YouTube channel. And it would be lovely if as many of you could come with as possible to give it a go, just see what it's like. Test out the platform. I've not done it before. I don't know what it'll be like. We might decide we all hate it. We might go, oh, this isn't like Twitch. It doesn't have the functionality we're used to. It doesn't, we might not be keen. And if that's the case, that's fine. We won't do it again. I mean, it'll probably take a few streams to test it, but I would like to see how it goes. Because I'd like to diversify things a little bit. I'd like to have experience streaming on the two different platforms. And you never know, YouTube has much more discoverability than Twitch. We might be able to grow the channel much faster going through YouTube than we do on Twitch. Twitch is inherently more obscure as a platform for your general public. And I have a much bigger subscriber base on YouTube. It might go down a lot better. So yeah, it's something I'd like to try. Lots of people in the comments being quite positive about it. What I would like to know is, are there any of you in the chat who are like, Joseph, that's a terrible idea? Because do tell me, I'd be really interested in the feedback. If there's any of you who say, no, YouTube is going to be much worse than Twitch, I would, or specifically if you wouldn't follow me to YouTube. If I started streaming on YouTube more than I did on Twitch, if you wouldn't tune in on that different platform, I'd quite like to know that. Because what I'm really keen not to do is just sabotage the following we've been growing here. You know, we've been setting things up here for quite a while. And I don't want to just say, well, throw it all on the fire and wreck it all. I don't want to do that. So it would be reassuring if I could try and retain as much of what we've built here and bring it over onto YouTube. But as I say, I'm not planning on just cutting off on Twitch. What I'm sort of toying with, and tell me what you think of this idea, I'm sort of toying with keeping the gaming stuff on Twitch. Like when I'm playing like Spider-Man or something, we could do that on Twitch, at least in the short term, see what that's like. And if I'm doing like engineering stuff, then we could do that on YouTube. Or music stuff, we could do that on YouTube. And sort of in between, I don't know where the modding stuff falls. Because the modding stuff is inherently gamery, but most of my YouTube subscriber base follow me for Lucien, because that's predominantly what I post about on YouTube. So they would also be a very specific audience of people interested in Lucien. So when I'm working on Lucien, maybe that would make more sense to post on YouTube? I don't really know. I've been watching YouTubers talking about this. I've been watching Harris Heller, who has provided a lot of, I learned a lot about how to stream from his tutorials and things. Yeah, that might be right, Ninja. The best thing to do might be just to try it and see what the turnout is like. And if I get like 5 viewers on YouTube and 40 viewers on Twitch, which is kind of the most we ever really get for a modding stream, on a very, very good day, we might get up to 50. But yeah, that's what we currently do. That's what we currently do, Boethia, is yeah, we stream on Twitch and then I upload the VOD onto YouTube after. Can't do both, Daedric Mistress Void. So if I want to be monetized, which I do, you're not allowed to simulcast. So I'd have to choose one or the other, which will mean I could do stream today on YouTube, stream next week on Twitch. We can try it, and I think that's probably what we would do, is experiment, go back and forth a few times. But I can't simulcast to both, because that breaks all the terms and conditions on both Twitch and YouTube's end. And ultimately, one of the main reasons that this would work is that I'm hoping I can do this whole research stuff and all of this to try and pay the bills and make more time to do this sort of thing. You know, if it's not monetized, if I that doesn't work. So I want to be monetized. I want to therefore stick to the contract that I've signed. So we can't simulcast. Hello, Sacralicious. Lovely to see you. Thanks so much for tuning in, Myla. Best of luck with your PhD. Have a good one. So yeah, that's what have we covered? We've covered, yeah, where I've been, what I want to do now. Yeah, so I think if we're going to do that, it's probably a good idea for us to try and, leave more to talk about on the YouTube end of things. But there will be a lot more, potentially, there might be a lot of new people when we move over onto YouTube as well, who I would like, who I'll be getting to know as well. I'd like us all to get along and try and all be welcoming and everything. I don't want to have to go over too much of the same ground of what we've just talked about, but we probably will have to go over some of it because people won't have been here. I think over on YouTube, what would probably be most relevant is for me to talk about my more immediate plans for Lucien. Because there's more stuff I can go into on that. And also what we're planning on doing on the streams in the future. This is just going to be a talking-y kind of evening. This is going to be me rambling. I don't really have any content that we're planning on getting through today. We're not going to be playing a game or doing Lucien stuff necessarily. It's going to be me talking. So yeah, if you're up for that, should we go ahead and do the shift to YouTube? Should we give it a go? Sakura, if you've just joined, we were just talking. Anyone else who's just joined, we were talking about giving YouTube a try, trying streaming on YouTube just to test things out, see what it's like. Yeah. Okay. I will probably then disappear for 5 minutes, maybe 10, depending on how fiddly it is getting the YouTube stream started. I think I've got it all set up. I think it should work. But yeah, I will disappear for a bit, and the stream will start again on YouTube, probably in the next 5-10 minutes. So go grab yourself a cup of tea or something, and I'll see you then. Let's cross our fingers that it all works out. Okay, let's try it. See ya in a sec. Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon. Hello again to those of you who've just come with me from Twitch over to YouTube. To those of you on YouTube tuning in for the very first time, hello. I'm Joseph Russell. I made the Lucien mod for Skyrim. I mean, if you're already finding me on YouTube, you probably already know that. I don't know. But if you don't, hello, that's me. Welcome to the stream. Where we're trying YouTube. We're giving it a go. We're on YouTube. We're usually on Twitch. This time we're on YouTube. Maybe it'll be a thing that we do a lot of. Maybe it won't. We shall see. Thank you so much for becoming a channel member, Miskatonic, at the Polster level. Now, this is a thing. Hadn't really thought about how subs on YouTube are instead channel memberships, which are kind of also like Patreon tiers. So it's kind of like my Patreon and Twitch subscriptions merged into one thing, but without the top tiers. Don't really know what we'll do with that. We might need to tweak that over the coming months. But anyway, be a channel member if you want. But yes, hi. Who's new? Who's new in the chat? Excuse me. Who of you didn't follow over from Twitch? Because I would like to say hello. Who is watching me? Who wasn't watching me on Twitch? It'll be nice to meet you. Hey, Lunar Contact, you're a Patreon member. Lovely. Oh, yeah, that's another thing to try and integrate. I wonder if we can set it up so that Patreon people get, like, extra perks watching on YouTube as well as you normally do on Twitch. Maybe there's a way I can make that happen. Don't know. I'll have to do some research. Right. Yes, new people. Okay, hello, Padfoot. Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for being so kind about my mod. Hello, Ratboy Coulter. And, Varlok Sekun. That's a much more dramatic name, Sakura. Varlok Sekun. Hello, Carlos Crispins from the YouTube notifications. Yeah, that's a thing. Of course, you'll all have been pinged, won't you? On the YouTube notifications. Which feels a bit like, it feels a little bit, impostery. Because I feel like I don't have, okay, I can talk to you about the future of what I'm planning on doing on the platform, what I'm planning with doing with Lucien. You can ask anything you like, within reason. Let's keep it all nice and wholesome. But you're not necessarily going to see anything wildly exciting today. It's going to be kind of casual, hanging out, chatty. Hope that's all right. Right, sorry, just catching up with the rest. Oh, look at all the messages just popping up on the side. That's different. Why did they just catch up? Don't know. Hello, Secret Time Lady. Hello. Oh, you don't want me to say your real name? That's fine. Nerd of the 21st Century. Do you have a different name on Twitch? Not sure, but hello. Resident Eccentric. Greetings. Thank you for tuning in. Hope the dentist was all right. What time is it where you are? 2:30? Big fan of Lucien. Also have your book in Kindle. Thank you. I hope you got the one that's the better one on Kindle. I hope you got Lonely Worlds. And in that case, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for the support. Really appreciate it. Anxious Ace wants to know how subs work here. Get paid based on subbing over on Twitch. How does that work here? Yes, so the paid option here is channel memberships. I can see Nuna's already answered this, but I'm just answering as well. Paid option here is channel memberships, which are also kind of linked in. They have similar rewards as I currently got it set up to the Patreon tiers. But it unlocks, in terms of what it unlocks in the live streams, it'll unlock much the same thing that you got by being a member over on Twitch. You can also cheer, like instead of bits over on this platform, we have super chats. I think, which instead of like having a particular number of points kind of thing, you just sort of type in how much you want to tip, whatever, and that's kind of the same system. Incidentally, YouTube give a much higher cut for what it's worth over on this side. I get much more of the amount that you pay in order to be a channel member than I would for a sub on Twitch. So that's the difference, which is nice for YouTube, really. But it's the same that otherwise you have to be a YouTube partner to get that kind of cut over on Twitch. Cut. Laggy YouTube. Is YouTube laggy? Is this... I don't know how this is going to be. This is all kind of experimental. I'm hoping it'll be all smooth. I clicked ultra low latency, which I'm hoping will mean that like I reply really quickly to your messages. Don't know. We'll see. Oh, we're still getting the Twitch following notifications in the bottom. Interesting. Don't know about that. Let's see what's going on. Right. Hi, Bass Bunny Love. Welcome to the stream. Lovely to see you. Hope you're well. Krensada, thanks for the tutorials. I'm making a follower just like yours. Thanks entirely to you. I'm so pleased to hear that. That's always the loveliest thing when people are inspired or find the tutorial videos helpful to them to make a new mod. That's just so exciting when that actually happens. You know, I love seeing them all come up on the Nexus and Bethesda.net and whatever. That's awesome. I wish you the absolute best of luck with your follower mod. Feel free to drop into any of these streams, either here on YouTube or on Twitch or whatever, depending on what we end up settling on, to ask if you've got any questions or anything. I know I didn't get very far with the tutorial process. I will do more episodes of that. He keeps saying he does like one a year, but I will do more episodes of that at some point. But if you've got questions in the meantime, you're always welcome to ask, and I'll probably get back to you much faster on one of these live streams than I would otherwise sitting in my inbox. Because I've got so much mail to catch up on. I haven't been doing this sort of stuff for the last 3 months or so, so there's a huge delay. But I will get around to replying to everything. Hello, Nempt. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for coming over from Twitch. What's that that's just come up? Oh, another channel member. Luna Contact, thank you so much. Is that a channel member or is that a... Wait, I don't know what that is. Is that a channel member or is that a super chat? I think it's a super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat. Luna Contact, that is really kind of you. I really appreciate that. Unless it's a channel membership, in which case that's also really kind of you. I really appreciate that. It would be really helpful if you could tell me what that is, because I don't know how this interface works yet. But you did something which has supported me, and for that I'm hugely grateful. It comes up. It's down the thing. Through Super Chat. I understand. Thank you so much. I love the little jumping thing. We need to get rid of that zombie. The zombie down there. That's just odd. That just doesn't fit with my vibe. That's the default. We haven't... We're figuring it all out. There you go. Much higher viewer count than we get on Twitch. That's probably just because this is the first stream. When people realise this is all just nonsense and I'm full of twaddle, I'm sure you'll all tune out. But lovely to have you all here at the moment. Let me carry on replying to things. Got to try and follow through. Hello, Mara Sims. Welcome to the stream. Hello, Blue. Thank you for coming over. Hi, Jimbo. Thanks so much for being so kind about the follower mod. Oh, and you've just watched the Lucien the Dragonborn series as well. Season 2 of that. That's okay. Here's your first thing. Season 2 of Lucien the Dragonborn. I am going to do that this year. Everything got delayed because of all the live stuff that happened over the last few months. But I will still be doing that. That was always the plan. And I'm really keen to make Lucien the Dragonborn Season 2 happen sometime this year. I can't promise it, but I'm really keen for that to happen. It's not abandoned. I know I left it on a cliffhanger. I'm not going to spoil that for those of you who haven't watched. But I really want to follow up on that because I have some really exciting ideas for the story that I really want to happen. Oh, a channel member! Thank you so much for becoming a member. Angelina Aldridge. Really appreciate that. That is wonderful of you. Custard's happy to hear my voice. That's so nice, Ninja Cheddar Biscuits. For those of you who don't know, Custard is Ninja's cat and is like the MVP of all the streams. Custard is the best. We love Custard. Do streamers have top chat versus live chat settings or just those in chat? I do have that. Yes, I'm currently on top chat. Maybe I should switch it over to live chat. And then that'll put it all more in order because I don't want to miss stuff. Okay, there's lots of chat messages. I will work through them all and reply to the things you're saying. I'm talking very fast. Do let me know if you want me to slow down. Don't really know what I'm doing. Figuring things out. Hello, Haley/Malice Angel. Thanks so much for coming over onto YouTube. I really appreciate that. Inigo is a wonderful mod based Bunny Love, and so's Kaiden. They're both great, aren't they? They're amazing. Okay. Tetsunova, you are modding Skyrim for the first time. That's awesome. Really hope the tutorial videos are helpful. What's your mod? Tell me about it. What are you working on? It's always fun to talk about what you're working on, I think, if you're comfortable. I'd love to hear about that. Hey, Azora, thanks for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a member for so long. I really appreciate all the support. Favorite quest mod for Skyrim? Pug Smeller. That's a tricky one. I don't like to play favorites too. Oh, I don't know. I have different favorites for different reasons. The one I always talk about is the first follower mod that I ever got, which was follower mod, first mod, pretty much the first mod I ever downloaded, which is Moonpath to Elsewhere. It's really dated now because modding has moved on so much since then. But I have this, you know, how some games give you this feeling of wonderful nostalgia and comfort, like this feeling of, I'm home when you play them. I feel that kind of sense to some extent with like Skyrim, but also in Moonpath to Elsewhere as a mod. It's like, it's so familiar and lovely. I know it so well that when I play it, it's like, this is great. And it brings me straight back to the summer of, I don't know, it must have been something like 2014 when I was playing it for the first time. And it was really hot summer, or it was a really hot summer day. And I was sitting outside. I'd brought, like, because Mum said go play outside. So I brought my laptop outside with my mouse pad on, like, it was on a Pokemon Annual 2003 or something, with a mouse mat on it and my mouse and my PC, my laptop. And my laptop was streaming from... No, I think this was before I had streaming. I think what it was the gaming laptop I used to have before I got my PC. And I remember playing Moonpath to Elsewhere out in the sunshine, barely being able to see the screen. It was all obviously really dark because of the sunlight coming down. But it's just happy memories. So that's really special to me because of that. Falskar was another amazing one because of what it was at the time, which was one of the first like full kind of expansions to Skyrim. It added a whole proper new land as another map kind of thing, and I loved that. Wheels of Lull is so original and special. You know, it's just so wacky, and it did its own thing so totally. And I loved that. And I still love that. I haven't played it all the way through, to be honest, still. I've restarted it so many times. But I love how different it is. How much it kind of changes your expectations and plays with them. And the comedy in it. And it's lovely like that. That's just a few off the top of my head. I'm missing out so many wonderful, wonderful mods that are out there. But those are a few of my favourite quest mods. I'm sure I'll think of more that I should have said. But those were kind of my first ones. I'm going back to the days when I was a player more than I was a modder. So yeah. Right, that was a long time on one question. Let me move on to another one. Oh, Gay Unicorn says, oh my god, he's live. Hello! Lovely to see you. Yes, I'm live on YouTube. I've been live on Twitch loads. But on YouTube today, this is my new thing. Thank you so much, Micaholic. I'm so glad you've enjoyed my Lucien playthrough. As I say, Season 2 will be coming. Look out for that. Gabriella, you love my videos. That's so nice. Thank you. I appreciate that. I haven't done one for a while. I will be doing more of them. I'm going to get back into all this sort of thing now. Creator of greatest Skyrim follower mod. No, well, the thing is, Sean, that would be not true, because Inigo is the greatest Skyrim follower mod. He always has been, and he always will be. But it's very lovely of you to say so. But no, we all defer to Inigo. Gary is the king. There are many other wonderful follower mods as well, but Gary comes first, Inigo comes first. That's the gold standard. Words Without Rules, it's lovely to see you. I feel like I first encountered you on Tumblr. Didn't I? Or was it through Discord? Words Without Rules feels like a Tumblr name. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, it's lovely to have you here. Thank you for tuning in. Hey, Megasoggy. Good to see you. Hope you're well. Sorry, I'm so far behind in the chat. I am catching up. Resident Eccentric, I'm so glad that you found the tutorials so helpful. That's really great. You've made a D&D game in Skyrim? Oh no, your player characters, you've been making your characters from D&D in Skyrim. Well, that's really cool. Sorry. I'm talking more than I have talked out loud, like, in quite a while. Certainly today. It's making me spluttery. I need water. I have water. It's good. Lucien in 16K. It's, I think it's 720p, the stream, because I wanted low latency. I wanted it to be nice and smooth and not too taxing. And we might be able to go up to 1080p. If I have a fiddle with it. But at the moment, I think we're in 720. What does it say on YouTube's end? When you guys click the little drop-down thing, what resolution does it say it's coming to you in? Is it 720? Blue Pones is here. Zelzaz, author. Go follow, subscribe, everything to him. He's fab. Lovely, lovely guy. And Zelzaz is awesome. So do check that out if you haven't done. You want to give Lucien... So Cicero... not the Cicero, but Cicero would like to give Lucien a little kiss on the head. You may do that if you wish. Here is Plushian. If you wish to give him a little kiss on the head, you may. This is your opportunity. There you go. Hope you enjoyed that. Thank you so much for the super chat. Quink King. You turn Lucien unprotected and then torment him 40 at a time. They usually don't make that default wreath. And love the mod, by the way. God, what? You're being mean to Lucien, but I appreciate the support. Please don't be mean to Lucien. He's nice. Anyway, so 720p. 720, everyone says 720. Okay, that's really good to know. And yes, Blue, thank you so much for becoming a channel member. I really appreciate that. That's so kind of you. Oh, okay. Right. I can see some spicier questions further down of like things that will be a whole lot of me getting into. But I'll work my way down first. Someone asked, am I still doing my PhD? Yes, I'm still doing my PhD, but it's currently unfunded. So I'm quite keen to finish it as soon as possible. And also to step up all this creative stuff and everything, basically to try and pay the bills. It's going to be a bit of a tricky balancing act for a while until I can try and find some funding. But that's what I'm currently doing. Scarundi says, love Lucien. Thank you so much. I love it when new dialogue comes up as well. Because often I've forgotten. Often I'm testing Lucien, and like, I don't remember ever recording that. And it takes me by surprise, and that's fun. Megasocky hangs out on YouTube more than on Twitch. Okay, that's useful to know. Yeah, YouTube is much more discoverable, so I'm glad you noticed. Nugget, YouTube recommended me to you. I'm so pleased. Good. I'm glad. I should have put hashtags in the description or something, shouldn't I? So that this would be recommended more. But we can do that next time. It's fine. There's enough of you here to start with. Okay, right. Hang on. The Ripchen. Hi, the Ripchen. Thank you for tuning on YouTube. You told Lucien to call you Candle. That was a request through Patreon, I think, for someone. And when I was still allowed to do those. And I'm glad it's being used. There are so many of those slightly more obscure ones. I'm glad that people find them good as nicknames. Any plans working together with Serrano Dialogue add-on? So this is a thing I end up being asked about a lot, or I end up saying a lot. Thank you so much for the super chat, Miskatonic. That's really kind of you. Massively appreciated. So I don't talk about potential collaborations in advance before I actually, I don't talk about them because it's so difficult to coordinate between mods, between mod authors. Now, as I answered this on the Twitch stream earlier, I'm the problem. The problem is that I don't have my life together, that I don't have time. I have so many projects on the go at once, particularly right now I'm trying to finish my PhD and do all of this stuff as well. I find it really hard to manage that level of coordination. I will get through the list of all the people who I'm keen to work with and all the people who've requested stuff. I will work my way through it, but it's really hard to collaborate. And for that reason, I don't announce them in advance. I never say, hey guys, I'm going to do collaborations with Fred the Banana Man. Is that a mod? Maybe it's a mod. Someone make Fred the Banana Man. Anyway, I don't announce that because it's so easy to say, yeah, we're going to do that, and then it all kind of falls through because I'm not available or they're not available, and it's such a big job anyway. So I find it much easier to control expectations and everything if I don't answer those kinds of questions. I don't announce them. They come by surprise. All I can say to you is I'm working on lots. I have an inbox full of requests to collaborate, and I want to work with pretty much all of them. And I think you'll be really pleased when you do discover them by surprise in the coming updates. There will be many, and I think they'll make people happy. So, Bartos, I'm answering this question someone else may well have already answered, but what's Lucy? It was Lucien the Dragonborn. It's my playthrough. You'll find it on my YouTube channel, which I don't have to link when I'm streaming on YouTube because you're already on my YouTube channel. It all connects. It's amazing. Yeah, so just if you look on my videos section, you'll see it's a whole playthrough I did in character as Lucien, and it was a lot of fun, and I'm going to be doing season 2 of it. Hello, Lord of all Frogs. I'm so glad you made it to the stream. Artemis Entity. Yes, I'm really excited for Starfield. It looks amazing. I'm most excited to mod it more than anything else. Most excited to mod it. It's going to be so much fun. KGO Kev, thank you so much for the super chat. It did go through. Sorry, I've got so much going on in the chat. I didn't respond to it, but I really appreciate that. That's really kind of you. I hope you're well. I hope you had a lovely visit to London. I'm sorry we didn't manage to meet up, but if you ever find yourself here again, it would be really nice to get a coffee or something. Yeah, thank you for the support and for tuning in. Did you have a good time? How was the Comic Con? And was it Comic Con? No, it wasn't Comic Con. It was a convention of some kind though. How was it? Was it good? Did you have fun? Hi Shoyokun, lovely to see you. Everything's okay. It was not okay for a while, but things are okay now. Things are much, things are good again now. Well, as good as they can be. Kind of, I'm getting on with stuff. We're making progress, so things are good. I'm so glad you like Inigo and Lucien, Rat Boy Coulter. Okay, right, let's try and catch up some more with it. Adam Sexton, thank you so much for being so kind about the mod. Ori, another wonderful mod, Song of the Green. Really lovely mod. You guys should all check that out as well if you haven't done, because she's amazing and she interacts with Lucien and it's really nice. So that's cool. The dark side Twitch and light side YouTube. I don't know, I haven't left Twitch. I would like to still stream on Twitch from time to time. I'm testing YouTube. We're going to try and compare them between them, see what sort of, see what the viewership's like, see how well the platform works for both kind of things, compare them and see what we want to do. I just thought it's time to give YouTube a try. I'm so glad, Grey Forest, that you think Lucien feels like a Dragon Age Origin companion. That's really nice, because that's one of the things that I've always really aimed for. I've always been so inspired by Dragon Age with Lucien, and in particular the interactions I did with Inigo and with other mods. That was very much inspired by Dragon Age, because I love it. My favourite Dragon Age companion is a really tough one. My character romanced Leliana in Dragon Age Origins, and she's awesome. She's just so awesome. So yeah, possibly. Obviously, Varric is also lovely. Shale! Shale was amazing. Big fan of Shale. Such a cool character. So interesting. Do I mean Shale? Am I saying that wrong? Have I got the name wrong, or is that the name? I think they were called Shale. Or have I just totally made that up? Someone in the chat tell me. I'm going to Google it. Yes, Shale. It is Shale. Loved Shale. Anyway, right, okay. I've lost my place in the chat now. I was working through it all. Hang on. Gosh, there's so much. Right. Am I planning on working on some other projects in the future? What do you mean by other projects, Nimwraith? If indeed you're still here, I appreciate you asked this like 10 minutes ago. I always have a whole bunch of projects on the go at once. But in terms of modding projects, which I think is what you're probably asking about, I'm predominantly focused on Lucien right now. I don't have any other specific modding projects on the go. Have I played Vigilant? I haven't. I've heard very good things, but I've never played it. Stitcher noticed Plushian. Yes, Plushian made some friends. And I will show you, because Ninja also wants a closer view of Bert. So here are Plushie's friends. This is Camembert, which Ninja sent to me. We love him. He's adorable. And this is Bert the Boggart. Now, this is one of a kind. This was, so my if you haven't seen the video or whatever, or you haven't heard about it, my dad made a TV show years and years ago. He passed away a few months ago, but years ago, he made a TV show called The Treacle People. He was one of the co-creators. He produced the show. It's a lovely show. I utterly adore it. And it was this project I was working on with my dad over the last 3 months before he passed, where we got all the old tapes out the garage, and we got them digitized. We had them digitally restored in as HD as we could squeeze out of them. We took them up to London, got it all set up with the view of relaunching it on YouTube. we have now relaunched it on YouTube. Episode 1 was scheduled to go out the week after he passed away. And I've followed through on it, and I've been releasing the episodes. I've released one every week for 13 weeks. We've done the whole of season 1. And this is Bert the Boggart, who is one of the main characters from it. He's adorable, and there were plans at the time to try and do merchandise for the show, The Treacle People. Let me link the channel, actually, for those of you who want to know what I'm talking about. Here we are. Oh, hang on. How do I actually type in my own chat? Here we are. Right. There we are. That's the Treacle People. It would mean the world to me if you could check it out, by the way, if you could subscribe to it or something. It's a stop motion. So stop motion is when they take a photo. They've got puppets and they take a photo and they take a photo and they take a photo and they animate it all together. It's an animated comedy. It's kind of like a soap. In that it's about treacle mining. Which is, if you don't know what treacle is, and many people don't know what treacle is, it's like this sort of viscous sweet substance you use to make golden syrup and molasses. There's this rumour in this sort of myth in the UK that it's mined out the ground. So the premise of the show was it was about a mining village where they mine the treacle. And all the characters are balmy in their own particular ways. But it was written by by Brian Truman and his son Jonathan Truman, who were the writers of Danger Mouse. And a number of other shows from that sort of era. And what I always loved about it is it's a family show. And the reason for that is it's not one of those shows that's like aimed at kids, and adults can tolerate it as well. It's got jokes. All the jokes in it are written for both kids and adults on different levels. And by that, I don't mean the pantomime sort of, governor. That's not what people say. It's vicar, isn't it, or whatever. It's not like, some things are sort of like dirty and kids won't get it. It's like there are jokes in there about Ethelred the Unready and about special relativity and just all sorts of nonsense that are written for adults and are genuinely extremely funny for adults that kids wouldn't get. And there's also kids, there's also just fun and slapstick comedy and whatever for kids as well. But it works for both. And I adore that. So it was always this passion project of getting the show up on YouTube. And as I say, we've done the first season. There's the link. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. Because, it means a lot to me. And I'd really like to get it out there, to get people watching, because I think it's such a sort of hidden treasure. It would be amazing for people to see. Anyway, there was never any merchandise made for the show. It was based on the Sabden Treacle Mines, which was the Dewhurst family. The Dewhurst family who had the Sabden Treacle Mines in the north of England. And they made these little characters, the Treacle People. And then my dad and his colleague went up and visited it and loved the idea so much that they turned it into a show. And that's how the show kind of all came about. But there was never any merchandise made for the show. As much as they tried, they pitched it a number of times, but they were never able to get any deals signed for whatever reason. ITV were managing it at the time, and it just never happened. But this was the prototype for a plushy Bert the Boggart. And it was the only one that was ever made, to my knowledge, anyway. And it never, they never got made. But there's this one. And if there's enough demand, if the show ever takes off, I'd love to get more made, and do a whole sort of Redbubble merch store and everything. I'd love to do more of it, but it's very dependent on viewership and everything. Otherwise, we'd never break even. But yeah. So that's Bert, and he sits behind me now for the streams. And it's just nice. It's a way of feeling close to my dad, and it's lovely. Anyway, so back to the questions. Ninja mentioned Croc HD. Ace mentioned Croc HD. Very exciting. Croc was the game for the PS1 and the PC. It was my first game I ever played. Loved it to bits. I turned it into a follower mod for Skyrim as like a joke. You can download it if you want. But they have sort of tentatively announced that they're going to do a Croc HD kind of remake port thing of it, and I'm so excited for that. So I can't wait to play that. We will definitely be streaming that when it comes around. I still haven't played Croc 2 all the way through. I've only played the start of it, but Croc 1 was just my entire childhood. Played it so many times. Okay, right. Right. Gosh, I'm so far behind in the chat. Let's catch up. Let's catch up. Who's got more questions? What do I think? Right, so here's one of the spicier questions. What do I think of using AI for modding Skyrim? Personally, I'm not keen on it. I'm specifically not keen on it in the viewpoint of voice acting. I don't give permission for my voice to be cloned with AI. I appreciate legally there's not a ton I can do to outright stop people, but I don't like the idea of that. I'm not comfortable with it. Someone did clone my voice with AI the other day. I found it terrifying. It made me deeply uncomfortable. And thankfully they were kind enough to take it down. But I'm not as a voice actor and a creator, I'm very uncomfortable with people using my voice to say other things, particularly nasty things that I wouldn't say. I think that's not on. With regard to using it as a creative tool in order to make your own mod, everyone has their own different methods for how they write. I don't personally think AI does a particularly good job, but if you find it useful as a sort of inspiration, like a writing prompt generator, then by all means, more power to you. But I think, and I've spoken about this before on my Twitch streams, but I think fundamentally, art is an important part of our culture, whether it's in the form of voice or art, like visual art or games or writing, whatever. It's a way we share ideas and share emotional meaning with one another. It's a way of finding meaning in life. It's a very powerful thing. And I don't think I personally want the art that I come across in my life to be generated by a computer, because I think it loses some of that connection to other people that is kind of the purpose of art. So I obviously it's only my own personal opinion, but I'm not keen on a world where our art comes from AI, because it doesn't do for me what art do. That's not why I like art. I think we would lose something as a society if that were where all of our art came from. So I don't support it, I don't push forward with it, but it's for other people, it's for people more powerful than me to make decisions on laws and things regarding it. And I think AI as a whole is an immense force for good. It can be used, I use AI all the time in my research. I use it in the form of machine learning in order to, because I'm a scientist, and I use it for healthcare tech in order to develop my prosthetic control system. It's powered by AI because I'm training it on gathered data from participants and volunteers in order to try and understand human intention, so we can use it to control prosthetic devices and orthotic devices and bring mobility back to people who've lost some of their mobility for whatever reason. That, I think, is a positive, very positive use for AI, and it's something that can't really be done without AI. That, I think, is positive. I just don't think it should be where our creativity comes from. So there we go. That's my thoughts on that. Really glad you're looking forward to Season 2, Jewel Death Lucario. So glad to hear that. That's awesome. Lucian's pretty rad. I'm so pleased to hear that, Toby. I'm so glad you think Lucian's rad. He's rad, man. How do you do, fellow kids? So glad you love my vids, Kiza. That's really nice of you. Yes, I'm glad I remembered it was through Tumblr. Gosh, this shows how far behind in the chat I am. Words that I'm just replying to that. But yes, I'm glad I remembered that properly. Ethan, yes, I made Lucian related to my ESO character. That's Octavius. I don't actually have an Oblivion character. You're probably all going to hate me. I've not played Oblivion beyond the tutorial level. It's in my backlog of shame. It's in my to-do list. I would love to play Oblivion all the way through sometime, but I haven't done. So I don't have an Oblivion character. But viewers and people in my Discord server have said to have occasionally suggested the idea of an ancestor called Oblivious Flavius, who totally missed the Oblivion crisis. He was napping at the time. Didn't notice it. Assumed the whole fire in the sky and everything was just bad weather. And, really cool sunset for like several months. And that was Oblivious. But I can't confirm whether that's canon or not. I'm so glad you found Lucian a great support unit. That's kind of what I envisaged him more as more of a support character rather than a big fighter. But he can be whatever you want him to be. That's the whole reason I implemented the training system, was you can train him to be whatever. But yeah. Okay, cool. I've just caught up with people telling me it's 720p. If it is possible, will we see a Lucien in Starfield? Yes. Well, if it's possible. I've spoken about this before. I'm quite open about this. I am really keen to bring Lucien to Starfield if I can. Depending on what the modding capabilities are, but it's looking increasingly likely it will be possible. I'm really keen to bring him, specifically Lucien, not an ancestor or a descendant or whatever, but Lucien, over to Starfield. I have a plan for how I'm going to do that. It's not required. I'm not going to say, okay, you miss out on his story if you don't play Starfield. It's a whole other story, but it's a continuation of the character that I'd like to use. So depending on choices you make in Skyrim and whatever, but I would like to bring the character as you know him over to Starfield in a way that fits with the lore. You know, I don't want him to turn up in Starfield talking about magic and everything and Tamriel and breaking everyone's immersion if you're into Starfield and everything. I want him to fit. But I'd like him to be, there are enough narrative reasons I can make for him not to talk about Skyrim, unless maybe you bring it up. I don't know, I might make that an option. But I would like it to be that, yes, like that, Cicero. He should have some references to Skyrim as if he somehow knows but doesn't outright say it. I think he might make references to, home, to where he came from, to how he's still getting used to this place and how things work. He might talk about being from some other place. I think it should be mysterious. But I'm not, anyway, I certainly don't want everyone to, I don't want it to ruin all your immersion, and I don't want it to force Skyrim to be canon with Starfield, because they're entirely different universes. It's just, it is something I would really like to try and do. But it'll be an older Lucien, because Lucien is 21, as Starvel says. Lucien is 21 in Skyrim, because I was 21 when I started working on him, and I'm 26 now. I have aged. My voice has changed a bit. I'm still working on it, but I have to noticeably make him a bit more kind of light and free when I'm voicing Lucien. And this would be a bit, a more mature, older, wiser, more independent character. Would I consider doing something with Carrie Lind? To be honest, I don't actually know anything about that mod, but I'm open to the idea of doing collaborations with most other follower mods. It's just a matter of finding the time to do it and collaborating with people and making it happen. Do I think I can make a quest specifically for Lucien and Inigo to go on with the Dragonborn? Probably not, because the Inigo collaborations that we did were a product of a very specific opportunity we had at the time, where Gary's availability was suddenly there and lined up with my availability. We poured many, many hours into making it as good as we possibly could. We had, at the time, the most comprehensive interactions between any follower mods that Skyrim has ever seen. There have since been bigger ones now, I'm sure. But at the time, it was this huge thing. And I think we both consider that, we're still in communication. I consider Gary a friend. We've talked a lot now, a lot more than we had at the time. But I don't think that's something we're planning on revisiting at the moment, because we both have higher priorities. I'd much prefer to add new content for other mods and other bits of Skyrim I haven't done and other DLCs, rather than revisit the existing interactions. Same thing goes with Kaiden and all the other ones I've done interactions with. I prefer not to revisit those. I prefer to keep moving on to new things. Okay. Joseph Cleo the Death Munchkin. Okay, so a friend of mine has a dog called Cleo. She's this adorable tiny little puppy thing. She's not a puppy, she's just one of those really small dogs. And sorry, I love Cleo the Death Munchkin. Is kind of how I would describe her anyway. But I love that name. I hope you're still in the chat, Cleo. Are you still here, Cleo the Death Munchkin, or did you go because I didn't acknowledge your message? I hope you're still here. It's a great name. Anyway, yes, I do stream just as you start modding again. What dark magic is this? I don't know. I'm a sorcerer. There you go. I know we're over 100 viewers. We've never had this on Twitch, Words Without Rules. Why first time, Pavel says, because I haven't been on YouTube before. We haven't done it. I've always streamed on Twitch before. Cleo's still here. I'm glad you're still here. Hi, Cleo. That was meant to be a high five, virtual high five. Ready? 1, 2, 3. There we go. We did it. Yeah, well, I've always streamed on Twitch before. I just thought, let's try and diversify a bit. Let's give YouTube a go. See how things are going with it. See what it's like. And so far, it seems to be going well. I'm really enjoying it. And we've got lots of people watching, which is really nice. When is the Lucien port for Skyrim on the Alexa coming out? Is it actually a thing? Can you actually play Skyrim on the Alexa, or was that just an April Fool's joke? I've never known. Can you actually play it? Did they actually make it? Have I played Siren Route? I don't know where that is. I'm sorry. Hi, the Stinger, if you're still here. Welcome to the stream. Is YouTube eating the Lucien emotes, or is that just on my end? I can see your emote, Cthulhu. On my end, it's showing up, but I don't know whether that's showing up for everyone else. Are the Lucien emotes showing up for everyone, or are they not working? Yeah, Tetsu, I think voice acting, AI voice acting, is something I'm not personally comfortable with, so I couldn't give you advice to how to do that or anything, because I'm not keen on it. But obviously it's up to you to decide. You think Lucien needs a Bert plush in his room in Doom so far? Wouldn't that be fun? Yeah, all those emotes seem to be showing up for me. Old Scroll, if you're still in the chat, thank you so much for the lovely message. That's really nice. I'm so glad you like it. Starfield comes out on your birthday, check. That's really cool. See, I don't know whether Lucien would have a title like that, because he's just Lucien. He's not like a champion or whatever, like Inigo, or he's not Inigo the Brave or anything. He's just Lucien. He's just a guy. He's not that special. Anyway, I've already answered about Starfield. Oh, Kev says it was MCM Comic Con. Awesome. Lots of Yugi's, Yugi, Kaiba, and Ash. Oh, you met the VAs of Yugi, Kaiba, and Ash. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, that would have been so fun. Oh, I'm so jealous. Savage Fox Gaming. Hello. Sorry, I'm replying to your message. Everyone's message really late, but yeah, lovely to meet you if you're still here. I'm so glad that you like Lucien or whatever. I'm doing well. Thank you. Thank you, Brick Rick, for saying I'm awesome. Lucien is awesome. It's all awesome. You're awesome. Will I be making more follower tutorials? Yes. Will the mod Lucien receive any history updates, or is his story already finished? There's a third quest coming. Let's talk about that. Let's pause answering questions for a second to talk about this, because I think it's something that'll be interesting to everyone. I'm working on Lucien's third quest. I envisage the quest as kind of well, there's sort of really two with because Intruders is quite a small quest. It's like a mini quest kind of in the middle, but it's kind of, they form sort of a trilogy. So you have the Oblivion Engine, which is the big coming to Doomswither kind of quest. We have Intruders as sort of the in-between kind of quest. And there's a third quest, which is more on the scale of the original Oblivion Engine one, which I'm working on with a new dungeon, a new world space. And it's going to be a kind of conclusion to Lucien's story. Not necessarily to his story forever, but it's sort of conclusion to that arc. The arc of the first three quests. Obviously, I've just talked about plans in Starfield and everything, but there's a it comes to a kind of head in the third quest. It's high emotion, it's high drama. I think it'll be, a lot of people are very keen on all of the, I've always wanted to add more emotional aspects to Lucien, more moments to really connect with him, and have, really kind of bond with him. Not in a romantic way, because I'm not keen on adding romance, but I've always been wanted to add opportunities for that kind of bonding, and the third quest will deliver on that. I think. So I think you'll like it. And I'm really excited to do it. And that's something I would like to release this year. I don't know whether I'll actually make that happen, but that's my plan, is to release it this year as part of an update with all the other stuff. I have been teasing it, through my Patreon and my channel memberships. If you subscribe to the channel as a member at the Chronicler of Flavius tier or above, you will see some of those teasers that I've been putting out for it, a few screenshots and things of the new dungeon, and some hints as to what's going to be happening. I will be doing more of those. Again, that got interrupted by everything that happened, but yeah, I'm very excited for what I'm planning on doing with the rest of the story. And it's a really gorgeous dungeon. It was made by Jay Krojmal, the same guy, or JK's Skyrim, same guy who made made Doomswither originally. It's a whole other thing by him. It's beautiful. It's really cool. It's got some really cool design. It's got some really unique enemies and some really unique fights. It's going to be fab. It's going to be really fun. Okay, that's enough about that for a second. I'll carry on just working through the questions. Lucian's my emotional support guy. I'm so pleased. So glad you like him. Jack Rannock, I am planning on many more parts of the tutorial series. It won't be in the next part. Inter-NPC interaction is much more advanced than the other parts we covered. We very much need to work through in a progression. So we work our way up to that. I will cover that bit eventually, but it won't be in the next part. But I am planning on that. Megasocky asked, am I involved in biotech bioinfo research? Yes, I'm doing a PhD in biomedical engineering. My work focuses on control systems for prosthetics, and indeed other medical devices, with a view to restoring mobility for those who have limited mobility, by sensing and interpreting their intent. So what they want to happen, what they want, what they want to achieve with their, if they've got a prosthetic arm, what they want the arm to do, and predicting that in advance so you can make it follow those kinds of motions. That's the premise of what I'm working on. So yes, I'm just coming to the end of that PhD. I'll answer questions in both chats as they're coming up, because I've got another chat. I've got the other chat which is right at the bottom, like the most recent stuff, just so I'm not ignoring all the recent stuff. There is a Lucien Shimiji. You can download it on on Lucien's Nexus page if you want it. It's really cool. Yes, mechanical limbs kinds of prosthetics. That would be the hardware. I'm mostly doing input, sort of software stuff to control them, but that would be one of the applications, yeah. Pablo, I'm so glad you're loving the Treacle people. That means so much to me. Thank you so much for tuning into it. I really appreciate that. Yeah. Can I give me top 3 fun facts about Lucien that people might not know? Ooh, blimey. Okay. I'm not going to just make new stuff up on the spot, but I'll try and think of some of the more obscure aspects of his lore. He has an aunt called Sylvia, who he does not get on with. They have a hostile relationship. I like the headcanon that people came up with in my Discord server, that when people ask, like, that Lucien's dad thinks Sylvia is his mum's sister, and his mum thinks Sylvia is his dad's sister, and they've just never had that conversation. They've just never communicated as to who she's actually related to, and in reality, she's some kind of super-dimensional entity that's wormed her way into their life. But no, I don't know. I enjoy that. He has a cat, which is kind of inspired by the fact that I have a cat. Not here. She lives at my mum's house, but she's very small and fluffy. Her name is Grey. She cameos in some of my videos, and that's why Lucien has a cat. It's kind of based on that kind of idea. You won't ever meet the cat. Probably. And a third fact about him, he once set fire to his shoes while trying to boil potatoes. And that, I think, speaks for itself. Let me just catch up with more chat stuff. I just saw the theory from Monkey Anks that Lucien gets into Starfield because of a confrontation with a giant. Bam! He's in space. I love it. Speaking of which, I hope someone makes the space core in Starfield. That would be amazing. Wanna go space? Space. Hey lady. Let's go space. Wanna go space? Is he going to be a troglodyte about all the modern technology too? No, he's going to have a wonderful time. Lucien in Starfield will be so excited to discover all the technology and all the science. It's his absolute dream to explore all of that. When is Lucien's birthday? I don't know. I've never given him a canon birthday, but he does say in dialogue that he thinks he might be under the sign of the lady. But that's not confirmed. That's just what he thinks, because he doesn't really keep up with that sort of thing. But I've never actually said when Lucien's birthday is, just in case it's useful to me at any point when I make the mod to give him a birthday at a particular date. I don't know, might be useful. So I've not just decided that, but maybe I will at some point. Anyway, yes, Lucien is 21. Will I have the ability to train Lucien in Starfield? Do you know, I haven't decided. Because part of me is tempted to make Lucien play a slightly different role in Starfield if he is older by that point and wiser. He might not need training. He might be more able to train you. I don't know. Or maybe you might be able to train him less in sort of combat, but more about teaching him things about the world. He might be more interested in learning about stuff about the world of Starfield from you, rather than necessarily training his combat. Not sure yet. I'll see what I want to do. How's Gary doing these days? Seems to be doing well. Very, very busy man. Would you do anything with the Sophia mod? Can't do anything with the Sophia mod. That hasn't been worked on for years. The mod author and the voice actress and everything, they've all moved on from the project. Older mods like that, I can't do interactions with. But Lucien should comment on Sophia if you've got them both recruited at the same time. He's at least aware of her. Will I be making more follower tutorials? Yes, I will. What mod ideas am I thinking of? Predominantly Lucien. Thoughts on Dragon Age? Love it. Love the Dragon Age games so much. So excited for Dragon Age 4 whenever that comes out. Custard broke the fireplace? How can you break a fireplace? High fives all around the world. Very exciting. Lucien singing Baked Potato is stuck in my head. Baked potato changed my life. A baked potato showed me the way. Emotes all working. What do I think about Baldur's Gate? I don't know. I've never played Baldur's Gate. I have no knowledge of it, I'm afraid. What's his cat's name? Haven't decided. Sorry. Wish I could tell you. Oh, I've just lost my place in the chat. Can we play? When can we play rock paper scissors with Lucien? Never, because the animations aren't in the game and I'm not an animator. You can play that card game Triple Triad with him though if you download the patch. Not if you download the patch, it's patchless. I think. I can't remember, but there is some way of doing it that was set up by someone else. But I did the voice recording for. Lucien was a big inspiration for my Khajiit mage in D&D. Oh, that's so nice. Big Dwemer nerd named Sadar. It's a pleasure to meet you, Sadar. May you walk on warm sands. I got a new arm for my microphone. Nope, this is the same as we've had for a couple of years now. I do have a piano. I do play the piano. Not super duper well, but I can play a few things on the piano. I might play for you sometime. I have played on Twitch streams before, but yeah. People are excited about the third quest. That's good. I'm glad you like that he's not romanceable. It just isn't the story I'm trying to tell. Does or will Lucien ever have dialogue with regular follower dogs? He has dialogue with Vigilance, and he has comments on Miko. That's about as far as I've gone. Okay, right. I'm now catching up because I'm whizzing through these questions. Ripton knew all the fun facts. Well, yeah, well, I guess people will know them. How is Grey doing? Grey's doing well, thank you. She's a bit warm at the moment in the hot weather with her fur coat, but she's doing very well. I saw her the weekend before last, and it was really nice. I'll post some pictures next time I see her as well. Yes, Lucien can make tea because that's important for his functioning. Abram, I'm so glad you like Lucien. That's really kind of you to say. I'm not planning on adding more names to the custom name list beyond what's been requested, Lunar Contact. So I no longer am allowed to take Patreon requests. I have a whole bunch of the old ones still to implement from before I was stopped from taking those requests, which I will still honour, but I'm not planning on expanding it beyond that at the moment because there are already so many names I've got to do. Sorry. Yeah, that'd be the kind of Bard, just about the Starfield, you know, Lucien referring fondly back to his mentor, who's the Dragonborn, but not explicitly. That's the sort of thing that I probably would do. Him referring to his past, but not explicitly saying, hey, remember the Dragonborn? You know? Any plans to collab with the Beyond Skyrim team? Not to collab with them, because that's not something that... It's just a bit tricky. They're very much focused on making the Beyond Skyrim project, You know, they're very keen to do Beyond Skyrim. That's their project. I think collaborations for them would come much, much further on. But I do plan to comment on it. I plan to have Lucien interact with that, as I have done for Beyond Skyrim Bruma. You can already get a Lucien Beyond Skyrim Bruma patch. And that's cool. I plan to expand that more in the future. And as other Beyond Skyrim things come out, I'm sure I'll make Lucien comment on them as well. But I'm not planning on actually interacting between them. Burak, I'm Joseph. Lucien's the character I voice, but I'm afraid I don't know how to make followers with their race menu faces. I'm not, I don't use race menu. I can't really advise about that. But who is the person you should look up? What's their name? Pandorable. I believe Pandorable has a tutorial for how to do that. If you give that a Google, you'll probably find it. That'll explain how to do that. Oh, someone asked a question. I don't like to get. I don't want us to have a big discussion. I don't want us to have any debate or anything going on this. But yes, of course, I support trans rights. I think everyone has the right to express themselves and to live however they want to and to be recognised in that way. I don't want to get into a debate. Let's not get into a debate. But that is my stance, and I'm quite happy to say that. You always wanted Shirley to tell Lucien off for his aim with the bow. Yeah, I'd love to do that kind of interaction, but again, collaborations are tricky. Hello, Colin. It's lovely to have you here. Welcome to the stream. I hope you're well. How are things with you, Colin? Been a long time. Are you having a good time? I hope things are good at the moment. I mean, I hope you're not boiling in the heat. It is super warm here. I hope it's not as warm where you are. Anyway, become a magician in real life? No, I can't do any card tricks. I'm not a magician. Yes, Ancient asked, will I keep updating Lucien in LE as well? Yes, absolutely. It's very easy for me to update the LE version. I develop Lucien SE and I backport. Only takes an hour or so. It's not hard. So yes, I'll still continue to update Lucien and LE. Platonic relationships are very important too. No, you probably won't get to meet Lucien's parents because that would be an awful lot of effort. But never say never. You never know. Hello, Elodie. Welcome to the stream. I hope you're well. Yes, Dragon Age is a masterpiece. I have played D&D a couple of times with the people on the server. When the people on the Discord server, we've streamed it on Twitch. I do play. I'm not super into it. I haven't played loads, but we've done a few D&D games, and I've done a couple with friends as well. And I would love to play more. I really enjoy it. Will I give Lucien a unique weapon? No, probably not, because he doesn't need one. He's not that kind of guy. He doesn't need to be honest, if the game engine kind of supported it, if the game was designed that way, I'd make him non-violent entirely. But that doesn't really work as a follower. You know, he does need to be able to at least assist you in a fight. But no, he doesn't need a unique weapon. His unique weapon is his mind. Does Lucien comment on Serana? Not yet, but I will make Serana comments at some point in the future. Vanilla Serana. I mean, don't take that as an announcement of anything. But I will make him comment on her. I won't make conversations between them because that would mean splicing, and I'm not keen on doing that these days. Custard pulled a metal panel off the fireplace. That's dramatic. How tall is Lucien? Don't know for sure, but I'm 5'11", I think. Maybe 5'10". 5'10", 5'11", something in that region. So I guess, arbitrarily, Lucien, you could decide he's about that if you want to draw him. If you do draw him, please do send it to me. Tweet me or something. At me on... No one tweets me with fan art anymore. I know because people have all kind of moved on. Lucien's old news in the modding scene. But I do love seeing it. So tweet it at me or post it in the Discord. I'd love to see. How would Lucien react to a child dragonborn? He'd be useless. He'd want to be supportive and to teach them everything. He'd want to take them under his wing and teach them all the science and everything. He'd be really irresponsible and really bad at parenting. But he'd mean really well. I'm so glad you like my mod noobiness, but no, it won't be the same as Serana with Inigo. Inigo is a mod, you know, where the mod author was very keen to work with me. Serana is a vanilla NPC. It's not the same thing. And they're not planning on splicing. Will Lucien get Dawnguard support? Yes, that's very high on my list of things to do. Is a Lucien Dawnguard support. I can't promise when it'll come, but it's planned. Right, just catching up still. Colin, rather be hot than cold. See, I'm the opposite. I'd rather be cold than hot. I'd much rather be too cold because then you can put on a jumper. Whereas when you're too hot, there's very little you can do. Did you hear it right that Grandma Shirley was in the Starfield trailer? Did they? Did you hear that? I didn't. I haven't heard that. I didn't notice if she was. Can someone tell me if that's true? Could you say something about an eventual Legacy of the Dragonborn commentary patch? All I can really say is that it's something I'd like to do. But it's I can't give you a date for when that'll be ready or anything. I'm keen to do Legacy of the Dragonborn interactions. I'd like to do comments on it, but it's such a huge project. I don't know how long that'll take me to do, or when I'd be able to do it. I'm pretty sure that I definitely haven't seen anything about Grandma Shirley being in Starfield, so you might be confusing it with Elder Scrolls 6 that she has been confirmed to be in, but I don't think there's anything to do with Starfield. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Can I call Lucy? Well, you can't call Lucien Lucy to start with. He wouldn't like that. I mean, you can if you want, but can you call his dad Dave? Davidicus would not approve of being called Dave, and Lyra would not approve of being called Lili. No, none of those things would work well. That is a really cool idea, Bard, to have a letter from Lucien's parents one day. I'd really like to do something like that. Maybe I'll put that in the next update. Hey, Mr. Video Freak, thanks for tuning in. I've got my window open for all of this because it's so warm, and I'm very aware that I might be driving all my neighbours mad. Hopefully one of them, we have a group chat, hopefully one of them will post on the group chat telling me to shut up if I'm being too loud and annoying. Well, but there's nothing on the group chat, so I'm assuming that it's fine. Mr. Video Freaks decided Lucien's 5'9". How do you know that? Do you require author permissions to comment on another modded follower? Just comment no splicing voice interaction. It's good practice too. It's polite to ask. If it's one of these really old follower mods that hasn't been updated for years and the author's retired, I'd at least send a message, and if they don't get back to you after a good few months, then maybe consider it. But it's always good. It's always polite to ask. And there's never any harm in asking. The worst they can say is no, in which case it's good to respect that. Yes, Pablo, so I don't talk about interactions with other mods in advance as to who I might interact with. But Zelzaz, Lucifer, and Remiel are all really cool mods. They're all awesome. But I just can't talk about whether I'm going to do interactions or not with any of them because it's so hard to confirm. It's so hard to tell you. You know, I just can't say, yes, it'll happen because it might not happen. And I can't say it won't happen because it might happen. I don't know. You know, it all takes time and it all takes coordination, and it's so hard to deliver. Was Dandelion from The Witcher a favourite to create your character? No, I'd never played The Witcher, I'd never heard of Dandelion or Jaskier or whatever when I started working on Lucien. Though people have often pointed out the resemblance, and since watching the Witcher Netflix series, I added in some references. Specifically the toss a coin to your hero, oh Valley of Whiterun, oh Valley of Whiterun, oh. You know, now that is what I call an earworm. So there's, I did include that, but no, that wasn't, Lucien was definitely not inspired by Dandelion in any way. It's coincidental. Has Lucien ever composed an original song for Kaiden as he demanded? No, he hasn't. Will people ever stop asking me to add stuff to Lucien, Colin asks. I assume not. I hope not. Because it means people are still interested. If people stop asking, I guess it'll mean no one's interested anymore, and that'll be a shame. How am I monitoring the comments during this live stream? Asking for a friend. I have two little windows open. Right now I'm predominantly watching on Streamlabs OBS, where I have my camera window kind of here, and it has the chat listed on the left. But I also have YouTube's live chat pop-up window on my screen as well, which is showing me the more recent chat. So I'm trying to keep an eye on both while I work through the backlog of questions. I am not an AI being voiced by Lucien. My name is Joseph Russell. I'm a real human. But if you want me to do the Lucien voice, hello there, my name is Lucien Flavius. I'm a scientist, philosopher, amateur wizard, and something of a musician, though I suppose that's more of a hobby. I'm here in Skyrim on an expedition, academic mainly. I find the province simply fascinating. The flora, the fauna, the ruins, both Dwemer and Nordic, the architecture, the politics. Trouble is, I'm really not much of a fighter. I know a few spells and I can just about swing a sword, but beyond that, I'm pretty useless in combat. Skyrim's no place for a milk drinker like me, not on my own anyway, so I'm looking for someone to travel with. How much of a self-insert is Lucien? There are many aspects of Lucien that are inspired by me, but he's not a self-insert. He is much braver than me, much more intelligent than me, much more knowledgeable than me, and much better in a fight than I am. We also have, we're different in a lot of ways, in our personalities and in the way we speak. I know I sound very similar, particularly to people for who are not British. You know, I know he and I sound very similar, but I do have a Lucien voice and a Joseph voice, and they are different, and you will learn to hear the difference if you don't recognise it straight away. He's not a self-insert, but there's a lot of me in him, if that makes sense. What part of England am I from? I grew up in Surrey. If you don't know where Surrey is, it's just outside of London. Sort of south, never eat shredded wheat. Southwest of London. Do you do that? Never eat shredded wheat for north, southeast, northeast, southwest? I don't know what other acronyms people use. I do eat shredded wheat. Shredded wheat's nice, but never eat shredded wheat. There you go. Lucien sounds... You think I sound like Jack Whitehall? Gosh, no one's mentioned that before, apart from both being British and sort of southern posh kind of voice. I don't think I sound much like Jack Whitehall. Do I? What do you think? Just finished the first part of Lucien's quest and you miss him. Oh, I'm sorry. He will come back though. Can Lucien comment more on the things you give him in future, like food or armor? Yes, he will. That's one of my favourite things for Lucien and follower modding is adding all those comments and all the little things in the world, those one-off lines, those little throwaway lines on making him just feel more like he recognises things in the world. That's nice. Will you ever find out what Lucien wanted to see if you lend him an Elder Scroll? Yes, in his third quest. I just gone down. The More to Say mod author, Abram. I'm the More to Say mod author. I've done all the splicing, offering help with interactions. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. It's more just fundamentally when I have a finite amount of time and if I have so much time to work on a particular thing, I find the results so much more rewarding to work on interactions with another mod author where we can actually write dialogue together and record the dialogue and collaborate and have stuff that's properly written for those lines, rather than spend the time, which is just as if not more time consuming, trying to write a conversation, going through a whole list of, of the pre-existing dialogue and trying to find it and figure it. It's just so difficult. It's so much of a faff to do. I'd prefer to spend the time writing new stuff. So, yeah. If Lucien had access to modern day music, would he like rock? Hard to say. I think he'd be opening to enjoy any kind of music. I think he would be interested in all kinds of music. I don't know whether he'd enjoy them. Whether he'd enjoy rock. It might be a bit too much for him. But I think he'd be interested in hearing it. I'm a real human sounds like something a not human would say. I am a real human. Mind the gap between the train and the platform edge. The next station is Walthamstow Central. Am I from the same area as Jack Whitehall? I don't know where Jack Whitehall lives, so I couldn't tell you. Any advice on being comfortable / not socially anxious with your own voice when getting into recording? Yes! Just do it. I was so awkward and anxious doing my recording to start with. Everyone hates the sound of their own voice when they start recording. They do. You will hate. You start recording, you hate the sound of your own voice. It's awful. But you get over it. Once you've recorded 1,000 lines, you just don't care anymore. And that's very much what I find. And indeed, after I built Lucien's voice up enough, after I put enough into Lucien, I come to associate his voice as his voice. It doesn't sound like my voice anymore. When I hear this sort of voice, hello there, my name's Lucien, that's Lucien's voice, it's not my voice. They're different. So you do get over it. You figure it out mentally. What's difficult is sometimes in life, because ultimately I do voice Lucien, sometimes in life I'm talking and I'll occasionally say something, oh, marvellous. And I'm like, oh, that was Lucien. I just heard Lucien when my mouth opened and I heard Lucien's voice. And that is very discombobulating. That kind of throws you. You're like, what? So that does happen. And that will be weird for you. It won't be weird if you're Gary and you voice Inigo because their voices sound so different. Although there are still times when Gary does occasionally say something that does sound like Inigo. But, they are so different. Yeah, if you put on more of a voice, it that makes it have more of a separation. But yeah. Does Lucien have a romantic partner or at least a romantic interest? I couldn't possibly comment. What are your plans? I've lost it. The chat keeps moving. Someone said, what are my plans for future updates? I've just been talking about that, so I probably won't. Well, I don't know. The third quest that I'm working on, Dawnguard interactions, more Beyond Skyrim interactions, Legacy of the Dragonborn interactions, various follower mod interactions that I'm really keen to do but can't tell you which, general world expansions, more comments on the world, more spells for Lucien to learn, more custom names because I've got all those ones to fulfill from the Patreon requests. Oh, I want to do something with the resonance sphere because people always ask for a teleport. I don't want to give Lucien a teleport, but I have an idea for something similar I can do. Something functionally similar, but much more lore-friendly using the resonance sphere, which I'm still keen to try and do. So I'd like to try and do that. To sort of allow you to kind of call him to you rather than actually teleporting him to you, because that would be practical. Nuvinus, I'm afraid I can't talk about follower mod interactions that I may or may not do in the future. Don't take that as confirmation or denial. I just can't because it's so difficult practically to fulfill them, to make them happen. Those of you who've been in the chat since the start of the stream, by the way, will start to understand just how often I get asked, will you do interactions with this mod or that mod? Because I think that's the third or fourth time it's come up in this stream. It comes up a lot. I am literally the reason Mashafish says marvellous from time to time. I'm so thrilled to hear it. I'm so pleased to have added that into your dialogue. I'm so happy. Have we talked about Starfield yet? We have. Yes, I'd like to bring Lucien to Starfield in some form at some point, if it's possible. If there were a sandwich that was the Lucien special, what would that sandwich be? Lucien does state that his favourite meal is roast lamb. So maybe a roast lamb sandwich? Sounds expensive, but maybe. An FAQ video sometime, which I could point to when you get certain repeat questions. Yeah, I suppose that could be a good idea sometime. Does Lucien work with Ordinator? Yes, but Lucien doesn't learn perks. NPCs can't learn perks. You can't give an NPC perks mid-playthrough. They can start with perks, and they keep them the whole game, but you can't have an NPC gain perks as you play. Scalar Bucket, thank you so much for the lovely message. That's so sweet of you. I'm so glad that my nonsense has inspired you in some way. That really means a lot to me. Thank you for sharing that. How would Lucien react if the Dragonborn had 100 pieces of bread in his inventory? He would eat the bread. What do I think of Starfield? It looks awesome. Can't wait to play it. Am I planning to play the Witcher series of games? Probably not anytime soon. Ever heard of Algal the Bard? I haven't. Is that a mod? What is Lucien's favourite Dwemer ruin in Skyrim itself? Ooh, don't know. The one with the spinny things. The focusing... Spin, spin, you have to turn the thing and the lights go woo. That's really cool. He probably likes that. Do you think Doomswazar could abandon his aggressive side and live without some restrictions? No, he's a demon. He is a Daedra. Don't forget that. Someone asked earlier, am I planning to do more Creation Club interactions? I would like to cover the rest of the Creation Club DLC at some point. I find it quite fun making comments on those. Hey, Philippe Games, welcome to the stream if you're still here. I hope you're well. What brings you here? Will Inigo ever let Lucien have a sweet roll? No. Not without a fight. Thank you, Skelebucket. Oh, you might be right, Ace. When I've genuinely found something really funny and my voice goes higher, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Your worst nightmare. Thank you so much. I'm really glad you like it. Will I post the interactions I did with Anna NPCs? There are already some interactions with Anna NPCs. Oh, you mean will I post videos of them? Yes, at some point. Just need to get around to it. What questions would Lucien ask a character who's Prince of Sentinel in Hammerfell? He'd want to know all about the culture and the architecture and the politics. He would want to know about what life is like there, how it's different. He'd want to know about the day-to-day. He'd be particularly interested in the lived experience of that other culture. He wants to know things that he can't just read in books. He wants to know what it's actually like. What kind of tea would Lucien like? Thing is, I don't know what kind of tea there is in Skyrim. I like, well, black tea. Black tea will be what he'd like, because that's what I like. I like Earl Grey. I've talked about this on Twitch before. Okay, I like English breakfast. Always start my day with a cup of English breakfast. Or sort of builder's tea. Kind of, could be English breakfast, could be like Yorkshire tea, whatever. But, you know, the stronger stuff. Then, sort of after kind of 11 o'clock, I might transition to Earl Grey. And then if it's a sunny day, maybe swap Earl Grey out for Lady Grey, which is like Earl Grey, but with a little bit of sort of orange zest. And then in the evening, sort of post 6 p.m, I prefer Lapsang Souchong. Those would be my choices. Though I would still accept Earl Grey, but I would never have breakfast tea after 5 p.m. There you go. Hello, I'm British. I'm off to eat some bangers and mash and drink some tea with the Queen. Tally-ho! Do I ever play Skyrim with Lucien as a follower? Yes. Always, because I'm constantly testing him. Not strictly speaking for my own entertainment, although I do actually, unironically, I really enjoy collecting spells for Lucien. I find that really fun. Filling out that list, teaching him all of them, making him the ultimate spellcaster. I do really enjoy that. As much as it's sort of blowing my own trumpet. Oh, I've nearly caught up with the chat. That's so exciting. What's Lucien's favourite spell? Dunno. He gets quite excited about sparks. Unlimited power! But probably something to do with restoration. Thank you for subscribing, Snoop Sloth. Some kind of restoration thing, yeah. Maybe healing hands to heal others. Leviticus? Who's Leviticus? RSK, do you mean Davidicus? No, I don't currently plan on that. But maybe one day. We'll have to see. Are you ever going to find out where Clive came from and what he is exactly? Yes, but probably not in the Skyrim mod. Hi, Primal Fire. Thank you for joining. Yeah, I'm streaming on YouTube, and it seems to be going well. People seem to be turning up and staying, which is really fab. I might do this again. Mint sauce in Lucien's lamb sarnie. I don't know. To be honest, I don't think I've ever had a lamb sandwich. Would I put mint sauce in it? Yeah, I'd give it a go. Lucien probably would. Why not? How did Lucien change development-wise from first concept to first version? No, that's an interesting question. That's a twist on the usual kind of questions about what inspired him and everything. How did Lucien change? I think he was more of a bard. When I first envisaged him, the bardic aspect of his character was played up more. You were originally going to meet him like captured by bandits strumming a lute. And I kind of changed that because it was much easier to just have him waiting for you in an inn. So his character and the whole science thing built up a lot more over the course of developing his character. That wasn't so much a facet of it at the start. And I think that made him more unique, including that, you know, changing it that from him being more, he would have been more of a generic Yaskia Dandelion kind of bardic character as he was very first envisaged. So he developed more into the scientist, and I think that ended up being more interesting. If Lucien could time travel to any era of the Elder Scrolls timeline, where would he go and why? He would go as far back as he possibly could to the very creation. He'd want to know how the universe started. He wants the secrets of the cosmos. He wants to know everything he could possibly know. First thing, he would go to the very start. He'd see the world be made. Then he'd go to the very end and see how everything finishes. He needs those questions answered. Someone is suggesting the place with the whizzy whizzy woo woo lights is Mzulft. That sounds right. Does Lucien have any dialogue for when the character is over encumbered? I can't remember. Does he? He does if you're wearing a backpack. I think. Or maybe not a backpack. He has something he says about Octavius being a bit of a hoarder as well if you're carrying quite a lot. Might not be over encumbered though. It might be just if you have a certain amount. Clive is a perfectly normal horse, it's true. How would an interaction between Lucien and Yagran Bagan go, assuming Yagran is still alive? Again, Lucien would want to know everything about the culture. He'd want all of those secrets. He'd want to know everything about the Dwemer. He'd want to know where they went. He'd want to know specifically about soul gems and their role in automatons. He'd want everything. Yagran would be overwhelmed with all the questions. It would be cool if Lucien had interactions with Lost to the Ages quest. I can't remember which one that is. Someone remind me? Is that the Ethereum thing? Can't remember. Hi, KK Cringe. Thanks. I hope you're having a marvellous day too. Lucien doesn't have a favourite Daedric prince, or indeed a favourite divine. He doesn't worship them. He's aware of the existence of the gods and the Daedra, but he doesn't worship them and he doesn't have favourites. Lucien must be protected. I'm glad you think so. Please do protect him. Would I consider adding a feature of Lucien constantly getting letters from the parent that worries the most and having to hide them from the Dragonborn because they're embarrassing? No, Lucien is not embarrassed at all about his relationship with his parents. He's proud of how close he is to his parents. He's not remotely... Lucien isn't really embarrassed about anything. Except when he puts his foot in his mouth and says something he doesn't mean and then gets all flustered. But he's not ashamed of who he is. But I like the idea of getting letters from his parents. I think that's nice. I think maybe I should have more of that in a future update. Davmed says, thank you for the creator follower tutorial. I'm so glad it's useful. Dominic says Lucien should have an interaction with Remiel. I mean, I agree he should. It's just I can't promise whether or not he ever will. What are my thoughts on the Argonian follower named Lucifer? Yes, I've heard of him. Mr. Video Freak, who created him, was one of my Patreon supporters, and we had, because I offer mod making lessons to my top tier Patreon supporters, sort of tuition. So we worked together for a bit. So I got to see Lucifer in some of his very early stages, and it was awesome. So it's really cool how that mod's grown and grown. Will Lucien have dialogue for the rest of the Dark Brotherhood quest? I'd like Lucien to cover all of the dialogue in Skyrim. I'd like him to cover all of the quests. I'd like him to cover everything. But I don't know when he will. I might never get round to it. But at some point, yes, I'd like him to have that. What would be Lucien's opinion about Breton culture? He'd be interested in it. He's interested in everything. He wants to know everything. Have I tried Turkish tea? Do you mean like... oh no, I was going to say, do you mean like mint tea? But no, probably not. No, I've not specifically tried Turkish tea. If Lucien met Sheogorath, what would he say to him? He'd have many questions that Sheogorath just wouldn't answer. If Lucien makes it into Starfield, would he bring Clive? How would you design a spacesuit for a horse? There's a question. Probably not. I don't know. Would I? No, I don't think Skyrim. I don't think Starfield will support horses. So I hadn't actually thought about that at all. So no, I don't know. Am I reading Twitch questions? No, we're on YouTube, aren't we? What do you mean by Twitch questions, Luna Contact? I'm reading the chat that Streamlabs is providing me. I mean, maybe it's including Twitch. Why would people be commenting on Twitch? Comment on YouTube. YouTube is what I'm on right now. Oh, thank you, Ninja. Yes, it was my birthday last month. We weren't streaming or anything at the time, and I didn't make a thing of it. But yes, it was my birthday last month. Thank you for the happy belated birthday. I appreciate that, Ninja. Which side is Lucien on, Anuik or Padamayek? I don't know what that is. I'm sorry, I'm a fraud. What does Lucien do in Falkreath when he's not following you? There's a question. He leads a mysterious double life as an assassin, wizard, squirrel trainer. Does Lucien have a voice line if you use the spells Courage or Rally on him? No, he doesn't. But he should. I might try and set that up somehow. I don't know how I'd do that. Bit tricky. But he should do. What would he say? Thank you. I feel so courageous. Gosh, I feel rallied. I feel really rallied. I feel rallied. Lost the edges of the Ethereum crest. Is it? Oh, cool. Thank you so much for the super chat, Shouter. That's really kind of you. Thank you. You're the best. Look, I did the heart thing that people do sometimes in the world, I think. Yeah. There you go. That's really nice. Thank you. Lucien is a wet sock of a man, and I love him for it. A wet sock? Wet socks are the worst. Hey, Jeff Watson. Thank you so much for the lovely comment. Please call me Joseph. Russell is my surname. But thank you. I'm really glad you enjoy Lucien. And Lauren, I'm so glad you like him as well. Will there be any modded spells for Lucien in the future? Yes, but I'm going to finish the Apocalypse spells first. So Lucien will have more Apocalypse spells, and then I'll have a think about what other ones I might want to do. I'm so glad you found the tutorial helpful, Ultimate Ground. That's really kind of you to say. Gosh, do you know, I was worried that without any actual content to do in this stream, that we'd run out, you know, it will be silent and crickets, and I'd run out of things to say, and I just cannot keep up with the questions. I'm so glad it's going so well. You guys are so nice. This is really good. This is a wonderful welcome to YouTube. Make Clive a robot space horse in Starfield. If it's possible. Maybe he'll fly around in the HMS Clive. What's the most asked question about Lucien you've heard? It's either will I meet his parents, or will anyone ever meet his parents? Will they ever meet his parents? Or will he add interactions for X, Y, Z follower mod? Or will I do Legacy of the Dragonborn interactions? Have I ever considered any of those? Probably those things more than anything else. Oh, and why isn't he romanceable? Thank you so much for the super chat, Miss Catonic. That's lovely of you. Sup, Dark Dragoon? Sup, my man? What up? Yeah, bro. I don't know. Sorry, I don't know why I did that. It was just the word sup awakened something in me. I won't do that again, probably, for at least the next minute. Who would win in a fight, Lucien or Lydia? Lydia, she'd just destroy him. She'd snap him in half. Oh, Clive could be a motorbike. I guess he could. Anyway, yes, thank you for all the happy belated birthday wishes. That's so nice of all of you. See, I've got up that far now. Thank you all. Will I consider Lucien's response to meeting Calcelmo? Doesn't he already comment on Calcelmo? I thought he did. Maybe he doesn't. I might have forgotten that. In that case, probably at some point. Does he comment on you using healing hands? No, but he should. Deadly ninja squirrels are real. Yes, they are. Will Lucien have any interaction with Serana? No, he'll comment on her, but he won't interact with her because I'm not keen on doing spliced dialogue. Would it be possible to make it so Lucien could comment on the player's marriage and children or have lines if he attends your wedding? Yes, it is possible. It's quite hard. I am keen to do it at some point. Not quite sure how, but I will. Why did I make Lucien so likeable? That's interesting you should say that, because a lot of people find him deeply unlikable. There are many people who hate his guts and have told me so very aggressively and loudly and often. So I'm glad that you think he's likable. But yeah, he is not for everyone. Many people do find him annoying, and that's fair. That's fair. He does have an annoying voice. I have an annoying voice. It is grating for some people, and that's fine. Do I have plans for making other follower mods like the Argonian that says Toodly? You mean Croc? Toodly, 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 toodly. Yes-o! Yes-blah! No, not at the moment. Does Lucien react to you trying to sacrifice him and believe his calling? No, he doesn't, but he will at some point. Thank you so much for the lovely comment, Jess. I'm so glad you like Lucien so much. Hello, PRL Rocks. Thank you for joining the stream. Lovely to... Oh, you said we'll have to go. Oh, we'll have to go back and catch the beginning. Oh, well, if you watched this far, hello, lovely to see you. Oh, thanks, Pablo, saying I'm great company. I'm so glad you're enjoying listening to me. You're teaching later. What do you teach, Pablo? I teach maths. I'm a maths tutor. But what do you teach? Well, maths and physics. Mostly maths. But I can do physics. And coding. Reese, I like the Lucien mod so much that he actually appears in my Skyrim stories as well with other follower mods I really like. That's so lovely of you to say. Thank you, Reese. I'm so glad you like him. What would Lucien have to say to Sarah? He would want to know about the lived experience of being a vampire. That would be, and also about the past, about what the past, the time she grew up in. That's what he'd want to know everything about, the experience of it. Lucien is so not romanceable, there's a mug you can buy about it. You can! I've got it here. It's full of cold tea at the moment. But yes, this is the romanceable when mug, which is in... You can buy it off the store, linked under the stream. I believe it should be there. I think it's integrated. If it's not, it's certainly linked to the YouTube channel, the Teespring store. You can buy merch off it. You can also buy it on Redbubble. So if you want a... Sorry, I don't know whether the focus worked there. But if you want a romanceable when Lucien mug, you can get it. Along with many other merch things. What programming languages do I know? MATLAB, Python. I'm learning C# because I'm learning to code in... I'm learning to make games in Unity. It's another side project I'm thinking about. Pickaxe. C. Can do those kinds of things. Obviously Papyrus, but that's basically C. I did make Lucien killable because it's, to me, I think it's an important part of the immersion. You can only kill him if you hit him enough times that he'll leave you first, and then you can kill him. While he's recruited, you can't kill him. He is essential. It's only when if you hit him enough times first that he leaves you, that he then becomes killable. And if you hit him that many times, that's on you. Does Lucien have dialogue with the Dragonborn's kids? No, but I would like to add some at some point. Well, not with, comments on, because I'm not keen on splicing again. I want to hear Lucien say something like, "That's totally radical, man!" I said a hip, a hop, the hippie to the hip hip hopper. You don't stop the rockin' to the bang bang boogie. Say up jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie the beat. Do I have a favourite Lucien line? I don't know. I can't think. Do I have a favourite Lucien line? I definitely have done in the past, but I can't think of what it would be now. I'll have a think and I'll let you know. Does Lucien like chocolate? He's probably never tried it, but if he did, he would love it. I'm so glad you'd like to see me stream on YouTube more, Resident Eccentric. Certainly, we've got twice the number of viewers on YouTube today than I have ever got on Twitch. So that is a great sign that I should do this sort of thing more. What's my favourite fighting style for Lucien? I most like to have him as a mage. Oh, yeah. I like to think of philosophy as a way of conclusively resolving the big questions in life. Or is it? Discuss. That's the line that was bugged and played way too often. We've fixed that now. I dressed up Lucien as a droid and renamed him C-3PO. It fits perfectly. It does. Hello there. I am C-3PO, human-cyborg relations. Human-dragonborn relations. Is Lucien afraid of spiders? Only if they're big and trying to eat him, not if they're small and cute. Would I rather fight a horse-sized duck or 50 duck-sized horses? Neither. They'd both destroy me. But I guess if push came to shove, the horse-sized duck, because it would be easier to run away from. Because it's big, so I could presumably hide from it. You know, I could get, like, into a gap or something that it couldn't follow me into. Whereas lots of tiny horses would be harder to flee from, I think. Don't get me wrong, by the way, what I said earlier about about how there are people who dislike Lucien. I know they are, and that doesn't bother me. We don't all have to like the same things. It's fine. You know, people comment on the Nexus sometimes saying, oh, I don't like Lucien because of his character, his personality, and he looks stupid, and he's whatever. And unless you fix this thing about him, I'm not going to endorse, and I won't use him. I'm going to uninstall him. And I'm like, fine. It's fine. I don't need your endorsement. I don't need your download. You know, you can't hold me hostage based on that. It's not... I don't care. You know, it's not a problem. It's just... We don't all have to like the same things. That's fine. Not everyone has to like him. It's okay. There are lots of people out there who do like him, and that's what matters to me. Hello, Sam and James and Wilsons. Hello. Hi. Are you, what are you doing watching this? You're in Greece. Sail. Have fun. Don't watch me doing nonsense on the internet. But it's lovely. Hello. I hope you're having fun. Nice to see you. Sending love. Right. More questions. Has Lucien ever had fear overrule his curiosity and make him back down from adventure, or is he always the type to overlook danger in favour of knowledge? That's a good question. Probably not fear so much as caution. There's a lot of knowledge he could get related to the Daedric princes that he has been cautious enough not to indulge in. However, I think that's always a danger for him. I think if he were to ever, you know, have a flaw, I think he would pursue knowledge too much, and he might potentially not consider the consequences as much as he should. I think that's probably his biggest weakness, is temptation in that regard. So perhaps fear and caution should make him back down more often than it would. Blackstar, thank you so much. I'm so glad you like my voice. I'm from England. I'm from the UK. I grew up in a place called Surrey, which is southwest of London. Can I do the BD, do you mean the Dark Brotherhood, without Lucien getting upset at you for all the questionable stuff? Well, Lucien doesn't comment on or recognise that. I haven't written anything. But in principle, no, he'd be really upset with you. And when I finally get around to doing interactions with the Dark Brotherhood, no, he won't be keen on that at all. Do I have any plans in mind in developing Lucien either lore or gameplay ways in the near future? Yes! As I mentioned earlier in the stream, I'm working on Lucien's third personal quest. I'm hoping to release it later this year. But I can't tell you when or if I actually will. Am I planning on making a book about Lucien? I know, you know I have a short story posted on my website, but were I planning on extending it by chance, I'd definitely buy the book. That's a great idea. We'll have to see. Is Lucien afraid of spiders? Oh, I already answered that. Sorry. Will there be Lucien comments on the Dragonborn DLC? Yes. With some of Dragonborn characters like Nelith and Teldrin Zero? No. He'll comment on them, but he won't interact with them. Who would win in a fight, Lucien or Kaiden? Kaiden, he'd snap him in half. I've got to be honest, any of these questions, who would win in a fight, always the other person. Lucien is feeble. How was it working with Gary when I did the dialogue with Inigo? Oh, and someone's just asked, what was it like working with Inigo's creator? So to answer both of those, it was a career highlight. It was wonderful. Gary is a delight to work with. It was so creative and dynamic. We had this really intense few weeks of just doing so much, working on it and writing collaboratively. I'd write a whole bunch of stuff, then I'd go to sleep, and he'd write a whole bunch of stuff in the night, and then the next day we'd write so much stuff. And it was so much fun. It was this career highlight. It was a privilege. And I was working with my hero, I was inspired so much by Gary's work on Inigo when I worked on Lucien. And it's amazing, It's still surreal to me that happened, and I'm so glad that it did. It was wonderful. Does Lucien have a distaste for particular types of magic, like necromancy? Yes, Lucien is not keen on necromancy or Daedric magic. Conjuration of demons and things, not down. If you had to pick an armor for Lucien that fits his character, what would he have? I really like a lot of the robes, particularly the robes from Arcane Accessories. And I like his... I really like the museum armor from Legacy of the Dragonborn. I think he looks really cool in that. Also, his vanilla fine clothes he looks good in. Did I base Lucien off myself? No, but there's a lot of me in his character. He inherits a lot from me. He's not a self-insert, but there's a lot that we share. Hey, Pangaron, thanks for joining the stream. I'm so glad you're here. Lovely of you to tune in. Bromance FTW, I heartily agree. Does Lucien comment on the blades? Yes, through the vanilla quest a little bit. And if you take him to Bruma in Beyond Skyrim Bruma, with the Beyond Skyrim Bruma interaction patch, there's the whole blades quest there that he has loads to say about. Lucien is so unromanceable. He's an unintentional asexual icon. I'm so pleased to hear that. I've deliberately never commented on Lucien's sexuality. Because there are so many people who he seems to resonate with in different ways, and I really like that. I really like that people can see different things in him and connect with him in different ways, and I think that's really nice and special. Mark Hamill said something similar about the character of Luke Skywalker, and I was there when he said that, and it resonated a lot with me, and that's something I like with Lucien. Yeah, he's married to science, for sure, but I really love that you see that in him. That's really nice. Thank you so much for the super chat, how do I say that? Masimichi? Thank you so much. That's so lovely of you. I really appreciate that. You're the best. Thank you. 300 hours. That's a lot of listening to my silly voice. My rap isn't in the game and I'm not going to, but you can see it on Colin Burton's channel in my interview with Colin about Lucien. That's what I originally recorded the rap for. Oops, sorry. Someone's phoning me. That can wait. Who wins, Lucien or Joseph? Oh, that's a good question. Lucien would win in a fight over me. By a long way. Because he can use a sword. He'd just stab me. Or set fire to me with his literal magic that he has. I'd just sort of flail ineffectually at him and be hospitalized. It wouldn't, no. No, that wouldn't go well. Just going back through the chat again. People asking about Lucien being a vampire or a werewolf. Would he want to be either of those? No, he'd hate it. Both of them. Because of the implications and the lore and everything. You know, he wouldn't want to sell his soul to a demon or anything. You know, that's no. No. Wouldn't want either of those things. Though the immortality would appeal to him, because think how much knowledge he could get. Or how much he could learn over the course of his life. If he had all that time. Do I have any thoughts on making Lucien able to use potions/poisons in his inventory? Almost no mod character does this. Yeah, there's a reason for that. It's really bloomin' difficult. If I were to code something like that, you'd have to do it per specific potion. So I need to set up one. Oh, sorry, I do sell merch, Jeff Watson. You can get Lucien pillows and things. It's linked. I think it's under the... Can someone confirm? Is the merch store under the stream? Otherwise, you might have to click on my channel to see it. But I have merch. You can buy Lucien merch. You can buy this mug. You can buy pillows. You can buy t-shirts. It's all there. On the on Redbubble and on Teespring. Do check it out. There's no links under the stream. No, it should have like a shelf. Obviously haven't set that up properly. Don't worry about it. But I can grab you the links if you want. But otherwise, as I say, they're on the channel. Here's the Teespring store. Oh, that's not it. That's a massive long link. That's what I want. There's the Teespring store. And here is the Redbubble store. So have a look on there. Buy yourself something nice, maybe. The money is split 50-50 between me. Well, obviously a lot of it goes to Redbubble and to Teespring. But I mean, the profits are split 50-50 between me and the fan artists I've collaborated with working on it. So it's a great way to support me and those lovely artists' amazing work. If you'd like to donate on the stream, by the way, someone was just asking how to do that. You can do it in the form of a super chat. So if you look up how to do a super chat on YouTube, if you just Google YouTube how to super chat, that should show you how to do that. Otherwise, you're more than welcome to subscribe on Patreon, where you'll also get a bunch of perks with that, or to become a channel member if you want to do that instead. Here's my Patreon. You can check that out, and also, yeah, you can be a channel member if you want. The Lucien plush is custom, I'm afraid. You can't buy that. Sorry. Sorry, yes, so the thing about potions and poisons is it's really difficult to do, so that's why it's not really been done. Because you have to code each, so you have to code the lesser healing, you know, potion of lesser healing, potion of healing, potion of greater healing, you know, you have to individually code each of them. It's a huge faff. Lucien would not be concerned if you use Become Ethereal to jump off a ledge because he knows that it's made you invulnerable and then you'll be fine. You ship Lucien with Kaiden. That's awesome. Good for you. I'm so pleased. Thank you so much for the donation. Where's the name? It's literally, the chat just moved when I was looking at it. Pangaron, thank you so much for the donation. That's really kind of you. I really appreciate that. You're the best. I don't know why I've started doing that today. It's really cheesy. But, I mean, that's really nice of you. Thank you. Pudding the cat has jumped up on the desk to shout at the screen. If Pudding's still there, hi, Pudding! Daniel says, thank you for making an amazing mod. You're so welcome. Thank you so much for the lovely comment. But yeah, it's cool shipping Lucien with Kaiden. I mean, we didn't write it like that. But I'm glad that you see that. That's really cool. Aozora is working on their own follower. That's awesome. I'd love to do interactions with you, but I'm afraid I have a super long list of people that I'm planning on doing interactions with me. So by all means, send a message, but I can't promise to get around to it for a very, very long time indeed. You totally should start a follower of your own Mulberry. Anyone can do it. It's much easier than you think it's going to be. Check out my tutorial series on the YouTube channel if you want to. If you want to learn how to do it, I take it right from beginner, people who've never modded before. I'll take you all the way through. Well, I will in future episodes. There's only a few to start with, but it's aimed at beginners and it'll build you all the way up. Check it out. It's how to make a follower mod like Lucien Flavius. It's on my YouTube channel, so subscribe. Check that out if you want. Thank you so much for the donation, Sven. That's so kind of you. That's so lovely. Do I have social media? Yes, I do. I'm on Twitter. I have a Facebook page. I'm now on TikTok as of today. I have a Discord server, but your best place to get updates is always on these live streams, because you can ask me questions live. I'll tell you. You can literally watch me work. You can see all that kind of thing. So so the live streams are the best way. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok. Probably not. You probably won't get mod updates on TikTok. You're just gonna get nonsense on there. But join the Discord server. Any of those places. I do use Tumblr, but very infrequently, and I don't use DMs on any platform. If you want to message me, drop me an email. You'll find the email on my website, but I can't promise to get back to you quickly, if ever. I just don't do DMs. We've had a lot of problems with that before, so therefore it's just, you know, public spaces, fine, but DMs, I'm not super keen on. Thank you so much for the donation, Caitlin. Or is it Catlin? I don't know how I say that, but I really appreciate the donation. That's so kind of you. Thank you. You're the best. You're all so lovely. You're all amazing. Hey, Batty, by the way, if you're still in the chat, lovely to see you. Welcome, welcome. How are things with you? I hope life's been treating you well. It has been a while. How do I stay motivated to work on Lucien? What do I do when I don't feel like it? When I don't feel like it, I don't work on him. I have so many different projects. I have other things that I work on in life. But I take that when I'm working on Lucien, you work on the thing that you enjoy, you know. Thanks so much, Nuna/Starl, for helping, by the way, the moderating and everything. Really appreciate it. Have a great evening. But yeah, so you work on the thing that you enjoy. Like people go on saying, oh, can you add Dawnguard interactions? Can you add XYZ, whatever? Which I'll do if I want to. But if I don't want to do that, I don't work on that. A lot of the time, I really enjoy working on Creation Club patches. And I haven't, when I started out making them, very few people wanted them. Since they've been part of the anniversary edition, they've been much more popular. But people weren't interested in them. I was predominantly making them for myself because I enjoyed working on them. And that's the way you stay motivated with a self-led project like a follower mod. Work on what you find fun. Do what you think is fun. Don't do stuff because other people are telling you to. Do what you enjoy. And then you'll have a great time. Do I have any plans developing Lucien lore again? I already answered that, didn't I? Yeah, hang on. Lucien in Starfield? Yep, Lucien. I would love to do Lucien in Starfield in some form. Does Lucien have a favourite vanilla outfit? Probably the fine clothes. That's why he wears them. I always get a little bit offended when people talk about not liking Lucien's base appearance, Zach Bowman. I mean, it's fine. Use another mod, change his face. But to me, that's just his face. It's his face. In life, when I'm talking to people, I don't go, oh, I don't like talking to you because your face doesn't look as beautiful as I'd like it to. It doesn't matter. It's just people look like what they look like. But by all means, if you want to use a replacer, use a replacer. It doesn't bother me. There are some great replacers out there. There's some amazing artists who've done great work on it. But just my personal view is that I'm kidding. I am kidding, by the way, when I say I'm a bit offended by it. It's fine. It doesn't really bother me. It's fine. But it's just a face is a face. I've never understood the need to beautify him. And as I said earlier in the stream, Jeff, I'm not keen on using AI to voice NPCs and mods. As a voice actor, there are so many voice actors out there who are so keen for experience and to be, for roles and mods and everything. There's so many voice actors looking for work. I'm not keen on AI to voice NPCs and mods, personally. Thank you so much for the donation, Sven. I am darkness. I am the night. I am making noise. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm so glad you enjoy that. That was one of my favorites to include. That is one of my favorite lines. I love it. Thank you. Thank you so much for the donation. What about Lucien versus Lucien? Lucien would win. Who would win in a fight, Lucien or a stale sweet roll? Lucien, because he'll take a sweet roll, stale or not. I played Helgen Reborn once many years ago, Burak, but I can't remember very much about it, but I did enjoy it at the time. Who would win in a fight, Lucien or a moist towelette? The moist towelette. Lucien versus a moldy strawberry. Is the strawberry alive or dead? There's a question for Infinite Monkey Cage fans out there. Where are my Infinite Monkey Cage fans? Do you exist? Is the strawberry alive or dead? Who knows? Yes, Lucien can beat Kaiden if he's tied to a chair. You've played the mod. Yeah. Dakers, thank you so much for your lovely comment. I'm so glad you like Lucien. Sending greetings to Argentina. That's so nice. Would Lucien like my Skyrim character because my character is a Daedric hunter who likes collecting the artifacts? And would fight a Daedric prince in single combat? Well, if you'd fight them, then yes, Lucien would be on your side. He's just not keen with supporting the Daedra, because they tend not to be very nice. Thank you so much for the super chat, Jonna. What I love about Lucien is how he engages with you directly. With most companions, you have to engage with them, but not Lucien. He makes the game more impressive. I'm so pleased. A lot of people, one of the complaints that people make about Lucien is they say, oh, he talks too much. He should only talk when I talk to him. There should be an option to make him only talk when I speak to him. And that's just not what he would be like as a character. He's not the sort of person to wait to be spoken to. He speaks his mind. That's just the character he is. Who would win, a Lucien or a cute puppy? A cute puppy! Lucien could never hurt a cute puppy. Anyway, I'm so glad you like that, Jonna. Thank you so much for the support. The Spell Knight armor does look very cool, Batty. So yeah, he'd like that. How do I deal with voice cracking, etc. when recording dialogue? I record it again. Many takes. Many takes, Bob. And people who've watched my my live streams when I work on Lucien will know how many takes it takes me sometimes. Ever had to change the dialogue to make the pitch work better? Not for the pitch, but I often have to change the dialogue because you write something down and when you actually come to say it out loud, it doesn't sound like you'd want it to. You're like, oh, that isn't as natural as I thought it would be. So sometimes I do change it up when I actually come to recording it just because it flows better. Oh, Ninja, if you're still here, thank you so much for dropping by. I hope you have a lovely evening. If you've gone, you've gone. But yeah. Bye, Ninja. Oh, I've lost my place in the chat again. Okay, hang on. Kristen just said, or said a while ago, that they just finished reading Lonely Worlds and they love it. Thank you so much, Kristen. I'm so glad you enjoyed the book. Anyone who has read Lonely Worlds, if you do enjoy the book, please do consider leaving me a review on Amazon or on Goodreads. It means the world to me. It really helps me out as an author. So I would really appreciate that. So thank you. Thank you so much for being so lovely about it. What upcoming mod project am I most excited for? I tend not to get excited for upcoming mod projects because the nature of a mod project is it takes a super long time and you never have a release date for them. You can't have a release date for them. I find it's counterproductive to get excited for them. Just enjoy them as they come out. Lichterman, I'm so glad you enjoyed Lucien's Doomspathar quest and the boss fight. It's so nice to get positive stuff about that. It's one of the things people complain about a lot. So it's really nice to hear that you're enjoying it. After the Dragonborn slays every monster, completes every quest, and 100% everything, what would Lucien do after that? Go home? Go to another province? Go on another adventure? Can Lucien play instruments? If so, what instrument does he play? Lucien can play the lute, but he doesn't have one. I'm learning to play a guitar, and when I'm good enough at the guitar, when I can play the Skyrim songs well enough on guitar, I'll add that in as a function into the game so that Lucien can play them on the lute as well as just singing them a cappella. If Lucien could meet you in real life as a creator, what would he thank you for, and what would he be annoyed at me for? I think he'd thank me for his brain, which he's very proud of. Would he be annoyed at me for anything? I don't think he would. I think he's pleased. I think he's happy with who he is. I don't think he'd be annoyed. Anyway, another question about would I be open to doing interactions between Lucien and Remiel in the future. I don't talk about which interactions I might do in advance because they're too difficult to coordinate. How high is the chance that the whole making Dooms with our domestic is going to backfire horribly? You'll have to wait and see. Best wishes to Brazil, Carlos. Thank you so much for the lovely comment. I hope you're still here and can hear this, but I'm so pleased. That's so nice of you to say. More people for Lucien to learn from. I'll only ever do interactions like that with other mods because we can have custom dialogue for it as your Dominion. You know, like Lucien. Lucien can learn from Inigo. I probably won't do that with vanilla NPCs. Ancient wants to know, I have a theory. Could you ask how many Brazilians there are in my chat? Sure. How many people in the chat are from Brazil? Does Lucien have comments in the Tomb of Ysgramor? Yes, he does. What would Lucien think of it? Oh, we already answered that. A pregnant friend of Jeff's had names for her unborn, Lucien or Serana. And she'd never played Skyrim. Oh, they're great choices. I love loads of other follower mods. I don't talk about what I'm going to interact with, but I'm a huge fan of Inigo, of Ori, of Kaiden, of Zelzaz, of Remiel, of Lucifer. There are so many other amazing follower mods out there that I'm a huge fan of. Ori always gets a particular vote from me, partly because she's just such a well-written, really cool mod, and partly because Mary was the first mod author to take a chance on me when I set out doing Lucien and was asking people to interact with me. Mary Merrigan, who made Ori, said yes and was so supportive and proactive in working with me on that, and I'm really grateful to her for that. Maria, hi, welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for the lovely comment. Oh, lots of people from Brazil. 1, 2, 3, 4, well, 3 1/4. 4 1/4. How would Lucien react to Maven? He wouldn't like her very much. She's not very nice. Was I ever nervous about making my mod public? Yes, hugely nervous. But I did beta tests first, which helped a lot. I had a private closed beta where people said that they'd like to, said they'd like to test it, and they told me they liked it, and that helped reassure me a lot. As already said, obviously, as I said, I disapprove of AI used in place of VAs and mod, but you'd like to pick my brain a bit more. If an AI was a voice clone of someone who gave permission, is that more acceptable? Oh, don't get me wrong. If the person is given permission, then yes, sure, that's acceptable. It's ethical from that point of view. I still would not personally ever choose to play that mod, and I wish that kind of thing didn't exist, because I don't want my art I consume to be AI made. I'd rather it were made by a person. I'd always rather that, and I'd always rather support that. So I don't like the idea of that, but I'd say it wouldn't be morally wrong necessarily. Spliced lines are a little bit different, and I acknowledge we get into a grey area there. What's the difference between splicing dialogue and using AI? I don't have the answers for that one. I can't tell you why it's different. It just feels different to me. I don't have a whole nuanced argument about it. I can't get it. I'm not here to make a platform. I'm not attacking AI or anything here. People are just asking my opinion, and these are just my opinions. But yeah, I'm just not keen. I'm just not keen on AI used for creative stuff. It just doesn't do it for me. I don't like it. But that's fine, you know? We don't all have to like the same things. How was it working with creator of Kaiden, the characters' interactions? It's always great working with... to be honest, I can't even remember with Kaiden. I wrote the lines, and Liv commented on them and made some suggestions, and then Dan recorded them. We didn't have nearly so much interaction as I did with, like, Gary necessarily. But it was great fun. They were all really supportive. I enjoyed it very much at the time. How do I feel about having Lucien translated into other languages? As subtitles, absolutely fine. Provided you ask permission first. If anything, to make sure you're not wasting your time, because there's often multiple languages being worked on for Lucien, and if someone says I want to do a Chinese translation and someone else says I want to do a Chinese translation, you know, I can tell you someone else is working on it. You don't need to spend your time. But I do really appreciate it if people ask for permission first. With voice acting, I'm not so keen, because I'm Lucien's voice, and I'd find it very difficult to judge someone else's voice and whether it sounds like Lucien or not, because I obviously don't speak the language. I'd have to be very careful about that. Would Lucien like getting books about the Dwemer from the player character, just gifting them to him? Yes, although he probably already read them. Lucien Match, he says, not gonna lie, Lucien made Creation Club content 10 times better. I'm so pleased. That was my intention with it, was to improve it. How much preparation did I do for the mod before I started in the creation kit? Very little. I just thought out the vague idea of the character and I started. It's always the best way with a with writing and narrative projects in general, is to just start and figure it out from there. That's very much how it worked with Lucien. You just get started and you just crack on. Right, okay, we're catching up again. Matcha would love to see Lucien react to fishing, maybe to catch some of his own. I would love to do that as well. It's another thing we'd have to work on as like a Creation Club interaction patch thing. How would Lucien react to the tribunal? All the questions. So many questions. Loading screens. No, I'm not planning on doing loading screens for Lucien. It's just not something I think he needs, really, as a follower mod. Oh, Ace, if you've not gone yet, see ya. Thanks for being there. Lovely to have you. No plans to add a feature to ask Lucien how... Oh, no, ask how he's doing. Yes, lots of plans to add more. Oh, it's Macca. I'm sorry. Macca. I'll try and remember that, although I can't make any promises, but I'll do my best. No, I'd like to add more sort of emotional interactions with Lucien, more ways to kind of talk on less of a asking direct questions level and more of a kind of conversational level. So yeah, that could be something like that, about asking how he's doing. Clear, you are more than welcome to open up Lucien in the CK, but do bear in mind I haven't provided the source files for the scripts. So if you open a quest, it's quite likely to create a blank copy of the script in your Skyrim directory, which you need to make sure you delete before you next play with it. Otherwise, that script won't run. So basically, you're welcome to look at Lucien as much as you like in the CK, but when you're done, open up your Skyrim scripts folder in your data directory and delete anything that starts with JR, because those will be your blank copies of the script. Is 2 p.m. evening or afternoon? 2 p.m. is afternoon. What? But in the UK, it's 8:15 p.m. right now. So I am going to have to stop soon because I need to go and buy some food. Buy some food. I don't have food. I need to go to the shop. Is there a way to make Lucien prioritize using Bound Sword? Unfortunately not. I'm sorry. That's the vanilla engine. It does what it does. He will use Bound Sword, but the way vanilla NPCs tend to use Bound Spells is only if they have no other option for dealing damage. It's just how it works, I'm afraid. What would Lucien think of the Thalmor? He's not keen. They're not very nice. But he's aware of the whole political need to try and maintain peace with them. Do I have permission to use Lucien in my Skyrim Elder Scrolls stories? In fanfiction, yes. I'd appreciate if you were nice to the character, didn't make him do horrible things or have horrible things done to him. But only if it's for free and only if it's like an online fanfiction thing, not in a mod or something you're going to sell. Will Lucien be in Starfield? Batty says, I'd love to bring Lucien to Starfield in some form. Are there more plans to give him more books to read? Yes, I'd love to do that. I'd love to give him more. I enjoy doing that. I don't know how many people actually use the audiobook feature. Is that something you guys use a lot? Do you like having him read the books? I think people tend to sort of try it once and tend not to use it again, but would you like more of them? Lucien is not based off or inspired by any particular character, book, TV show, or movie, but subconsciously he's inspired by a lot of characters that I've come across. There's a bit of C-3PO in him. There's a lot of the Prof from the Treacle People, which I was talking about earlier in the stream. It's the TV show my dad made that I've been putting onto YouTube. And in it, there's a professor, Professor Baines Pilling, and his narrative, the way he talks, his tone, and his voice in general is very similar to Lucien's. And that wasn't intentional. I only realised it when we started working on the Treacle People again, on uploading it and everything. But there's a lot of similarities there. So I think subconsciously, a lot of his vocalisms and mannerisms are inspired by that character. Do check out the Treacle People if you haven't done. It's really important to me and my family. Here's a link. It would just mean the world to me if you could watch it. It's a really lovely series. I genuinely think it's amazing and you'll all enjoy it. It's really lovely. And by watching it, you're directly supporting me and my family. Please do subscribe and check it out. That would be wonderful. Please. Loads of people saying they really enjoy the reading. That's great. Okay, if you all really like it, then yeah, I'll add some more of it. It's very time consuming recording all of those. There's a lot of dialogue for them, so I only really want to do it if it's a lot. Ancient, I don't like what you're saying there about the fourth wall breaks. Lucien never breaks the fourth wall. That's very important for me. What he has is Easter eggs. He has Easter egg references to other bits of culture. In the same way that Skyrim has Easter eggs. Skyrim has references to Minecraft and Star Wars and all sorts of things. Lucien has references as well, but all of them are things that he could have come up with himself. Any of the songs he sings or quotes he does or anything, could just be him making up nonsense. That's just him. That's what he's like. So it works for me. I don't think he ever breaks the fourth wall. He just has nods to things, and I think that's okay. I think that appears in a lot of stuff, and I think it's fun. I don't know whether I'll add many more of those. I don't have any ideas for any right now. Thank you so much, Daniel. I'm so glad you're inspired. That's really cool. Lucien's favourite food is roast lamb. Does Lucien honour the 6th house in the Tribe Unmourned? I don't know what that means. And finally, could Lucien get interactions with Zelzaz? I never talk about follower mods that Lucien might interact with in advance because they're so difficult to try and coordinate and I don't want to disappoint people. Right! I've made it to the bottom of the chat. I answered all the questions, and it is 8:20. I'm hungry. I need to go to the shop and buy food, so I'm going to end the stream here. But thank you all so much for watching. It is so lovely that you were all here. I'm sorry, I can see more questions coming in now, but I've got to the end, so I'm going to stop. But this has been amazing, having you all in the chat. I never expected a turnout like this. We're definitely going to do a stream on Lucien again. On YouTube again, because this has gone so well. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe to the channel, because then you won't miss the next one. I don't know for sure when I will do the next one, but I will do soon. Check out the Treacle people, is all I can say. That's what I'd love you to do right now. If you're looking for some way to support me right now, watch the Treacle people, because that would mean the world to me. It's the best way to support me. Subscribe, tell your friends, share the link. It's brilliant. You'll love it. Honestly, if you like Lucien, you'll love the series. And yeah, stay marvelous. Look after yourselves. Thank you again so much to everyone who subscribed and became a channel member and did super chats and all of that. And hopefully I'll see you again really soon. Okay? Stay safe. Take care. Bye-bye.